There's something about the air in the Philippines, something ancient and almost magical. It's like the whispers of the wind carry tales from a time long forgotten, stories etched into the very bones of the islands. These stories aren't just tales, they are the heartbeats of the land, the echoes of those who walked here long before us. And it all began with the people who first called these islands home, the indigenous tribes whose lives were woven with the threads of the earth, the sky, and everything in between. Long ago, when the world was younger and the seas were wilder, the islands of the Philippines were untouched by the hands of time. In these islands lived tribes who saw the world not just with their eyes, but with their hearts. The land wasn't just a place to live, it was a living being, a force that breathed life into everything around them. The mountains were the bones of the earth, the rivers were its veins, and the forests were its hair, thick and untamed. For these early tribes, the world was alive with spirits. Every tree had a soul, every rock had a story, and the wind carried the voices of their ancestors. They didn't just see the world, they felt it, and in feeling it, they created stories that explained the unexplainable. Why does the sun rise and set? Why do the rains come? These weren't just questions, they were mysteries that needed to be understood. And so, they turned to their myths. The myths of the Philippines weren't just born out of imagination, they were born out of a deep connection to the world around them. The tribes believed in gods who controlled the elements, spirits who guided them, and creatures who lurked in the shadows of the forests. These weren't just stories, they were truths, as real as the earth beneath their feet. Bathala, the supreme god, was believed to have created the world, shaping the mountains and seas with his hands. Mayari, the goddess of the moon, brought light to the darkness, her soft glow guiding travelers through the night. But it wasn't just the gods who shaped their world. The tribes saw themselves as a part of a grand tapestry, one where every being, living or dead, had a role to play. The spirits of their ancestors were always near, watching over them, guiding them, and sometimes warning them. They believed that these spirits lived on in the natural world, in the rustling of the leaves, in the call of the birds, and in the silence of the night. To anger the spirits was to bring misfortune, but to honor them was to invite blessings. These beliefs weren't just a part of their lives, they were their lives. Every action, every decision, was influenced by their understanding of the world as a place filled with unseen forces. When a child was born, they believed that the spirits were present, watching over the newborn with eyes full of ancient wisdom. When someone died, they believed that the spirit would return to the earth, to be reborn in the flowers, the trees, or the animals. The tribes also believed in the power of nature. The mountains weren't just towering peaks, they were the homes of powerful beings, spirits who could bring both prosperity and disaster. The rivers weren't just sources of water, they were lifelines, flowing with the essence of the earth itself. The sea was a vast, endless mystery, a place where the souls of the drowned might wander forever, and where unseen creatures waited beneath the waves. These early tribes didn't just see nature as something to be controlled or tamed. They saw it as a force to be respected, a power that could bring both life and death. And so, they offered prayers and sacrifices, hoping to appease the gods and spirits, to ensure that the rains would come, that the harvest would be plentiful, and that their people would thrive. But it wasn't just fear that drove their beliefs, it was love. Love for the land, love for their ancestors, love for the world that had given them life. They didn't just worship the gods, they cared for them, just as they cared for the earth. They tended to the forests, they honored the rivers, and they protected the mountains, knowing that to harm the earth was to harm themselves. As time passed, these beliefs became more than just stories, they became the foundation of their culture. The tribes passed down their myths from generation to generation, teaching their children the stories of Bathala, Mayari, and the countless other gods and spirits who ruled their world. These stories weren't just entertainment, they were lessons, guiding them through the hardships of life, helping them to understand their place in the world. The tribes also developed rituals to honor their gods and spirits. These rituals were sacred, performed with great care and reverence. They believed that by performing these rituals, they could communicate with the gods, asking for their protection, their guidance, and their blessings. The rituals were often accompanied by music and dance, the rhythmic beats of drums echoing through the forests, the chants of the shamans rising to the heavens. But the myths and rituals weren't just about the gods, they were about the people themselves. They were a way for the tribes to connect with each other, to build a sense of community and belonging. In a world that was often harsh and unforgiving, these stories gave them hope, gave them strength, and reminded them that they were never alone. The tribes of the Philippines lived in a world that was alive with magic and mystery, a world where the lines between the seen and the unseen were blurred. Their myths were more than just tales, they were the embodiment of their deepest beliefs, their hopes, and their fears. And though the world has changed much since those ancient times, the stories of the early tribes continue to resonate, their echoes still heard in the wind, in the rustling of the leaves, and in the hearts of the people who call these islands home. These stories are not just the past, they are the soul of the Philippines, a reminder of a time when the world was young, and everything was alive with wonder. They are the heartbeat of the land, a song that has been sung for centuries, and will continue to be sung for centuries more. In the quiet moments before dawn, when the world is still wrapped in the embrace of night, there's a certain magic in the air. It's as if the world is holding its breath, waiting for the first light to break the darkness. This moment, so simple yet so profound, holds the essence of the ancient stories passed down through generations in the Philippines. These stories aren't just words, they are threads that weave together the fabric of a people's soul, each one carrying with it themes and symbols that resonate deep within the heart. One of the most powerful themes found in these myths is the battle between light and darkness. It's a struggle as old as time itself, a dance between the sun and the moon, between day and night. The people of the Philippines saw this not just as a natural occurrence, but as a story that played out in the heavens above. The sun, with its blazing light, was seen as a powerful force, bringing warmth and life to the world. But with that light came the shadows, the darkness that crept in when the sun set, leaving the world in the grip of night. This battle wasn't just about the physical world, it was a reflection of the inner struggles that every person faces. The fight between good and evil, hope and despair, life and death. The myths told of gods and goddesses who fought to keep the darkness at bay, who brought light to the world even in the darkest of times. It was a reminder that no matter how deep the darkness, the light would always return, bringing with it the promise of a new day. Another theme that runs through these stories is the power of nature. The people of the Philippines lived in a land where nature was both a giver and a taker, a force that could bring both abundance and destruction. They saw the world around them as alive, filled with spirits and beings that could shape their lives in ways both big and small. The mountains weren't just towering peaks, they were the homes of gods, places where the earth touched the sky. The rivers weren't just flowing waters, they were the lifeblood of the land, carrying with them the essence of life itself. The myths told of how the gods created the world, shaping the mountains and the seas, bringing forth the forests and the fields. But they also told of how these same gods could bring disaster, unleashing storms and earthquakes, reminding the people that they were at the mercy of forces far greater than themselves. These stories weren't just tales of wonder, they were warnings, reminding the people to respect the world around them, to live in harmony with nature rather than trying to conquer it. Throughout these myths, certain symbols appear again and again, each one carrying with it a deep significance. The tree, for example, is a symbol that appears in many stories. It represents life, growth, and connection to the earth. The tree is rooted in the ground, drawing strength from the soil, but it also reaches towards the sky, connecting the earth with the heavens. In the myths, the tree is often seen as a bridge between worlds, a place where the spirits dwell, where the living can connect with the divine. The sea is another powerful symbol in these stories. It represents the unknown, the vastness of the world beyond the shores, a place of both danger and opportunity. The sea is unpredictable, sometimes calm and peaceful, other times raging and destructive. The myths speak of creatures that live beneath the waves, beings who can bring both fortune and disaster to those who dare to venture out onto the waters. The sea is a reminder of the power of the unknown, of the mysteries that lie beyond what we can see and understand. The sun and the moon are also central symbols in these myths, representing the cycles of life, the passage of time, and the balance between opposites. The sun, with its bright, unyielding light, is a symbol of strength, power, and life. The moon, with its softer, more mysterious glow, represents intuition, emotion, and the hidden aspects of life. Together, they create a balance, a harmony that is essential to the world. The myths tell of how these two celestial bodies are locked in an eternal dance, each one chasing the other across the sky, never quite meeting but always connected. These symbols aren't just abstract ideas, they are reflections of the world the people of the Philippines lived in, a world where the cycles of nature, the forces of light and darkness, and the mysteries of the unknown played a central role in their lives. The myths helped them to understand these forces, to see the connections between themselves and the world around them. They weren't just stories, they were a way of seeing the world, a way of finding meaning in the beauty and the chaos of life. The myths of the Philippines also speak to the importance of family, community, and the connections between generations. They tell of how the actions of one person can affect not just themselves, but their descendants, their community, and even the world. The stories often feature heroes who must make sacrifices for the greater good, who must put aside their own desires to protect those they love. These themes reflect the values of the people who told these stories, values that placed a high importance on loyalty, responsibility, and the bonds that tie people together. Throughout these myths, there is a sense of awe and wonder, a recognition of the beauty and the power of the world. But there is also a sense of humility, a recognition that humans are just a small part of a much larger whole. The myths remind us that we are connected to everything around us, that our actions have consequences, and that we must live in harmony with the world if we are to survive. These stories, with their themes and symbols, aren't just relics of the past, they are living, breathing parts of the culture of the Philippines. They continue to resonate with people today, reminding them of the values, the beliefs, and the wisdom of their ancestors. They are a connection to a time when the world was seen through different eyes, when every rock, every tree, and every star held a story waiting to be told. And so, as the first light of dawn breaks the darkness, as the sun rises to chase away the night, these stories live on, carried by the wind, whispered by the trees, and echoed in the hearts of the people who remember. They are not just stories, they are the soul of a people, a reminder that no matter how much the world changes, the themes and symbols that define us remain. When the skies darken and the stars begin to twinkle like distant lanterns, the ancient gods of the Philippines come alive in the minds of those who remember. These gods are not just distant figures in forgotten tales, they are the beating heart of the myths, the forces that shape the world, and the spirits that still linger in the winds, the waters, and the wild places of the land. They are the echoes of an era when the divine walked among mortals, their presence felt in every corner of life. At the center of it all is Bathala, the supreme god, the creator of everything that exists. Bathala is the essence of life itself, the force that brought the world into being. He is the light in the sky, the breath in the wind, and the pulse in the earth. The people revered Bathala with a mixture of awe and devotion, knowing that he was the one who held the power to give life and to take it away. They believed that he watched over them from his place in the heavens, guiding their lives with a hand that was both gentle and firm. Bathala didn't rule alone. By his side were other powerful deities, each with their own dominion, their own role in the grand design of the world. There was Mayari, the goddess of the moon, whose light shone softly in the night, offering comfort and protection to those who wandered in the darkness. Mayari was Bathala's daughter, a symbol of grace and strength, who carried with her the wisdom of the night. Her light was a reminder that even in the darkest times, there is always hope, always a glimmer of light to guide the way. Next to Mayari was Apolaki, the god of the sun and war. Apolaki was a fierce and powerful figure, his presence felt in the heat of the day and the clash of battle. He was the protector of the people, the one who led them in times of war, his strength giving them the courage to face their enemies. The people prayed to Apolaki for victory, for protection, and for the strength to overcome the challenges they faced. He was a warrior in every sense, but he was also a bringer of life, his light nourishing the earth and helping the crops to grow. Beside them stood Hanan, the goddess of morning and new beginnings. Hanam was the one who welcomed each new day, her light chasing away the shadows of the night. She was the symbol of renewal, of the endless cycle of life and death, and the promise that every end is followed by a new beginning. The people looked to Hanam for guidance as they embarked on new ventures, for the strength to start over when life knocked them down. Her presence in the morning light was a constant reminder that no matter how dark the night, the dawn would always come. These gods and goddesses didn't just exist in isolation, they were connected by a complex web of relationships and hierarchies that mirrored the world they ruled. Bathala was the father figure, the creator, the one who held everything together. His children, the other gods and goddesses, each had their roles, their domains, but they all answered to him. Their relationships were not just about power, they were about balance, about maintaining the harmony of the world. But the pantheon wasn't just made up of benevolent gods. There were also deities like Siddhapa, the god of death, who waited patiently on Mount Majas, marking the time of every living being. Siddhapa was not a god to be feared, but one to be respected. The people knew that death was a natural part of life, and they honored Siddhapa for his role in that cycle. He was the one who ensured that the souls of the dead found their way to the afterlife, guiding them with a steady hand. Alongside Siddhapa was Siddhan, the god of the underworld. Siddhan ruled over the land of the dead, a place where souls went after they had left the world of the living. But Siddhan was not a cruel god, he was a guardian, watching over the souls and ensuring that they were treated with respect. The people believed that Siddhan could be both kind and severe, depending on the lives the souls had led. He was the judge of the dead, the one who decided their fate, and his word was final. Lacapa, the hermaphroditic deity of fertility, was another vital figure in this pantheon. Lacapa was revered as a god of life, of growth, and of abundance. The people offered prayers and sacrifices to Lacapa, asking for bountiful harvests, healthy children, and the prosperity of their communities. Lacapa was seen as a nurturer, a giver of life, whose blessings ensured the survival and flourishing of the people. But even in this divine family, there were conflicts, rivalries, and misunderstandings. The gods and goddesses were not perfect beings, they were reflections of the world they ruled, with all its complexities and contradictions. Their stories were filled with tales of love and loss, of loyalty and betrayal, of battles fought and won, and of lessons learned. These stories were not just about the gods, they were about the people who told them, the people who saw in these divine beings a reflection of their own struggles, their own hopes, and their own dreams. The relationships between these gods were not static, they evolved over time, shaped by the stories that were told and retold through the generations. The myths spoke of alliances formed and broken, of friendships that turned to rivalry, and of love that transcended even the boundaries of life and death. These stories were a way for the people to understand the world around them, to make sense of the forces that shaped their lives. The pantheon of the Philippines is a testament to the rich and complex culture of the people who worship these gods. It is a reminder that the divine is not distant or unapproachable, but something that is woven into the very fabric of life. The gods of the Philippines are more than just figures in old stories, they are the embodiment of the people's deepest beliefs, their hopes, and their fears. They are the guardians of the land, the protectors of the people, and the keepers of the balance between the seen and the unseen. And as the night gives way to the dawn, as the first light touches the earth, the gods of the Philippines continue to watch over the land, their presence felt in the whisper of the wind, the rustle of the leaves, and the beating of every heart. They are the echoes of a time when the world was new, and they will continue to be remembered as long as their stories are told. In the beginning, before the world as we know it existed, there was only darkness, a void, endless and silent. It was a time when the stars had not yet found their place in the sky, when the earth was but a distant dream, and the seas had not stirred. In this vast emptiness, there was a single presence, a being of unimaginable power and wisdom, Bathala, the great creator. Bathala was alone in the darkness, but he was not afraid. He knew that within him lay the potential to bring forth life, to shape the universe, and to breathe existence into the void. For countless ages, Bathala contemplated the nothingness around him, his thoughts deep and profound. He knew that the time had come to create, to fill the emptiness with something more, something beautiful and enduring. And so, with a thought, Bathala began. From his breath, he formed the wind, gentle at first, but growing stronger as it swirled through the darkness. The wind carried with it the seeds of creation, scattering them across the void. As these seeds took root, the darkness began to change. Light burst forth, radiating in all directions, chasing away the shadows that had once reigned supreme. With the light, Bathala created the sky, vast and blue, a canvas upon which the stars would soon be painted. He reached into the depths of his being and pulled forth the sun, a blazing orb of fire and light, to rule the day. The sun's rays stretched out, warming the universe, giving life to all that it touched. But Bathala knew that balance was essential, so he also created the moon, soft and silver, to watch over the night. The moon's gentle glow offered solace and comfort in the hours of darkness, a reminder that even in the absence of the sun, there was still light. As the sky and the celestial bodies took their places, Bathala turned his attention to the earth. He shaped the land with care, molding mountains and valleys, crafting rivers and seas. The earth was his masterpiece, a place of incredible beauty and diversity. He filled it with lush forests, where trees reached towards the heavens, and with vast plains, where the grasses swayed in the wind. The rivers he carved flowed with life-giving water, winding their way through the land, nourishing everything in their path. But Bathala's creation was not yet complete. He knew that the earth needed more beings to inhabit it, to care for it, to appreciate its beauty. And so, he created life. He brought forth animals of all kinds, from the tiniest insects to the mightiest beasts. The forests came alive with the songs of birds, the plains with the thunder of hooves, and the seas with the dance of fish. Each creature was unique, a reflection of Bathala's boundless creativity and love for his creation. Yet, as he looked upon the earth, Bathala felt a sense of longing. He realized that he desired companions, beings who could understand him, who could share in the joy of creation. And so, from the dust of the earth and the breath of the wind, he created the first humans. These beings were different from the animals. They were gifted with intelligence, with the ability to think, to feel, and to create. Bathala loved them deeply, and he entrusted them with the care of the earth, giving them dominion over all other creatures. But Bathala was not the only powerful being in the universe. In the farthest reaches of the void, there existed other forces, beings who watched with envy as Bathala's creation flourished. Among them were Ulalang the giant serpent, and Galang the wandering spirit. Ulalang in particular, resented Bathala's power and the beauty of his creation. The serpent, who lived alone in the sky, could not bear the thought of another being possessing such greatness. Driven by jealousy, Ulalang descended upon the earth, seeking to destroy what Bathala had made. The serpent's massive form coiled around the mountains, squeezing the life from the land, while its breath turned the rivers to poison. The earth trembled under the weight of the serpent's fury, and the skies darkened as Ulalang anger blotted out the sun. But Bathala would not allow his creation to be undone. With a voice like thunder, he confronted the serpent, challenging it to a battle that would determine the fate of the world. The clash between Bathala and Ulalang shook the very foundations of the earth. The mountains crumbled, and the seas roared as the two forces struggled for dominance. In the end, Bathala's power proved too great for the serpent. With a final, devastating blow, he defeated Ulalang casting its lifeless body into the deepest abyss of the earth. From the serpent's remains, Bathala created the mountains and valleys, turning what was once a force of destruction into something that would forever shape the earth's landscape. Galang who had watched the battle from afar, was moved by Bathala's strength and wisdom. Unlike the serpent, Galang did not seek to destroy, but rather to understand. Bathala, recognizing the spirit's curiosity and potential for good, welcomed Galang as an ally. Together, they continued to shape the earth, bringing forth new life and ensuring that the balance of the universe was maintained. Bathala's creation was now complete, a world filled with light and life, with beauty and wonder. But more than that, it was a world that reflected the very essence of Bathala himself, a world of strength, of love, and of enduring spirit. The earth, with its mountains and seas, its forests and plains, stood as a testament to the power of creation, to the belief that even in the midst of darkness, light can emerge, and from chaos, order can be born. And so, the world of the Philippines was born, a place where the divine and the mortal coexist, where every rock, every tree, every river, carries with it the mark of Bathala's hand. It is a world where the story of creation is written not just in the ancient myths, but in the very fabric of the land, and the hearts of the people who call it home. As the first humans looked up at the sky, at the sun that shone during the day and the moon that guided them at night, they felt a connection to Bathala, a bond that would endure through the ages. They knew that they were not alone, that the Creator who had given life to the world was with them, watching over them, guiding them as they walked the earth. And in their hearts, they carried the story of creation, passing it down through the generations, a reminder of the power of faith, of hope, and of the enduring spirit of life. In the silence before the dawn of time, when the earth was young and the world was still new, the gods turned their gaze toward the land they had crafted with such care. The rivers flowed gently, the mountains stood tall, and the forests whispered secrets to the wind. Yet, something was missing, a being to walk upon this earth, to breathe life into its soil, and to carry the spirit of the divine within. The gods knew that the time had come to create mankind. Bathala, the great creator, who had shaped the very foundation of the universe, looked upon the earth with love and pride. But as he surveyed his creation, he felt a longing in his heart. The earth was beautiful, yes, but it was incomplete. It needed beings who could understand and appreciate its beauty, who could love and nurture it as he did. And so, Bathala decided to create man and woman, to be the stewards of the earth, to live in harmony with the world around them. Bathala took a handful of clay from the rich, fertile soil of the earth. He held it in his hands, feeling the cool, damp texture, the potential for life it held within. Slowly, with great care, he began to mold the clay, shaping it into the form of a man. His hands moved with purpose, with love, as he crafted each detail, the strong arms, the sturdy legs, the gentle curve of the face. With each touch, Bathala breathed life into the clay, infusing it with the essence of the divine. When the form was complete, Bathala stood back and looked at the being he had created. But something was still missing. The man, though perfect in form, was lifeless, silent. Bathala knew that he needed more than just a body. He needed a soul, a heart that could feel, a mind that could think and dream. And so, Bathala leaned forward and breathed into the man's nostrils, filling him with the breath of life. At that moment, the man's eyes opened, and he took his first breath. He looked around, seeing the world for the first time, the sky above, the earth below, the trees that swayed in the breeze. The man felt the warmth of the sun on his skin, the coolness of the earth beneath his feet. He felt the wind in his hair, the pulse of life all around him. And in that moment, he knew that he was alive, that he was part of something much greater than himself. But Bathala's work was not yet finished. He knew that the man needed a companion, someone to share his life with, to walk beside him on this new earth. And so, Bathala took another handful of clay and began to shape it once more. This time, he crafted a woman, her form soft and graceful, her face full of kindness and wisdom. With the same love and care, Bathala breathed life into her as well. The woman opened her eyes and looked around, her gaze meeting the man's. In that instant, they knew that they were connected, that they were meant to be together. They felt a bond that was deeper than words, a connection that tied them to each other and to the earth itself. Together, they stood on the land that Bathala had created, the first of their kind, the beginning of mankind. But the story of the birth of mankind does not end here. In different parts of the Philippines, among different tribes, the story is told in many ways, each with its own beauty, its own truth. In some tales, it is not clay that Bathala uses, but bamboo. The gods, wanting to create beings to inhabit the earth, looked down upon the land and saw a single bamboo stalk growing near the riverbank. They saw in it the potential for life, the promise of something more. And so, the gods descended from the heavens and split the bamboo in two. From one half of the bamboo, a man emerged, his eyes wide with wonder as he stepped into the world for the first time. From the other half, a woman appeared, her face full of curiosity and light. They looked at each other, and in that moment, they knew they were made for each other, destined to walk this earth together. The bamboo had given them life, and now they were to give life to the world. Another tale speaks of the first man and woman being born from the union of the earth and the sky. The sky, vast and endless, was the father, and the earth, fertile and nurturing, was the mother. Their love was so strong, so pure, that it brought forth life. From their union, the first man and woman were born, their bodies formed from the earth, their spirits from the sky. They were the children of the universe, the embodiment of the love between the earth and the sky, destined to live in harmony with the world around them. In some stories, the gods created mankind from the breath of life itself. They gathered the winds from the four corners of the earth and brought them together in a great circle. The winds danced and swirled, their movements full of grace and power. And from this dance, from the union of the winds, man and woman were born. They were beings of the air, light and free, their spirits as boundless as the sky above. They were the children of the wind, and they carried with them the essence of life, the breath of the gods themselves. These stories, though different in their details, all speak of the same truth: mankind was created with love, with care, with purpose. The gods, in their wisdom and compassion, brought forth life from the earth, from the sky, from the wind. They gave mankind the gift of existence, the ability to feel, to think, to dream. They created man and woman to be the stewards of the earth, to live in harmony with the world, to care for the land and all the creatures that inhabit it. As the first man and woman walked the earth, they felt a deep connection to the world around them. They knew that they were part of something greater, that their lives had meaning and purpose. They were the children of the gods, the first of their kind, and they carried within them the spirit of creation, the essence of life itself. And so, mankind was born, not as an accident or a whim, but as a deliberate act of love and creation. The gods looked upon their work and saw that it was good. The earth was no longer silent, no longer empty. It was filled with life, with the laughter and tears, the hopes and dreams of mankind. And in the hearts of the first man and woman, and in the hearts of all their descendants, the story of their creation lives on, a reminder of the love that brought them into being. In the early days of creation, when the earth was still fresh and untouched, the world was vast and open, waiting to be shaped. The sky stretched out endlessly, a canvas of blues and golds, while the ground lay flat and wide, a blank slate for the wonders to come. There were no mountains to stand tall and proud, no rivers to carve their paths, and no islands to rise from the sea. It was a time of anticipation, a moment of stillness before the earth's true beauty was revealed. Bathala, the great creator, looked upon the earth with a vision. He knew that this land, so full of potential, was meant for greatness. It needed more than just life, it needed features that would define its character, that would stand as monuments to the power and grace of creation. And so, Bathala called upon the forces of nature to help him shape the earth, to give it form and substance. First, he turned his attention to the mountains. Bathala wanted to create something that would reach toward the heavens, something that would stand as a testament to the strength and majesty of the earth. With a single command, he called upon the earth to rise. The ground trembled and shook as it responded to Bathala's will. Slowly, the earth began to lift, to push upwards, as if straining to touch the sky. The first mountain was born, its peak piercing the clouds, its slope steep and rugged. It was a sight to behold, a great and mighty presence that dominated the landscape. The mountain stood as a guardian of the earth, a symbol of endurance and power. Its presence was awe-inspiring, and those who gazed upon it felt a deep sense of reverence and respect. But Bathala was not finished. He knew that the earth needed more than just one mountain, so he called forth others, each with its own unique shape and character. Some were tall and jagged, their peaks sharp and fierce, while others were smooth and rounded, their slopes gentle and welcoming. Together, the mountains formed a great chain, stretching across the land like a spine, giving the earth strength and structure. Next, Bathala turned his gaze to the rivers. He knew that the mountains, as grand as they were, needed to be balanced by something softer, something that would bring life to the land. And so, he summoned the waters from the depths of the earth, calling them to the surface. The ground split open, and from its depths, the rivers began to flow. The water rushed out with a force that was both powerful and graceful, carving its way through the earth, creating paths that would one day become the lifeblood of the land. The rivers twisted and turned, winding their way through valleys and plains, their currents strong and steady. As they flowed, they brought life to everything they touched, nourishing the earth, giving it the strength to grow and flourish. But the rivers were more than just a source of life, they were also a source of beauty. Their clear, sparkling waters reflected the sky above, creating a mirror of blue and white that danced with the light of the sun. Along their banks, trees and plants sprang to life, their roots drinking deeply from the waters that flowed past. The rivers sang as they moved, a song of life and renewal that echoed through the land. As the rivers flowed, they reached the edges of the land, where the earth met the sea. There, Bathala called upon the waters once more, this time to create something new, something that would rise from the sea and stand as a bridge between the earth and the ocean. He spoke to the waters, and they answered, gathering together, rising up in great waves. From the depths of the sea, the islands began to emerge. They pushed their way to the surface, breaking through the waves, their shores kissed by the ocean's embrace. Each island was a world unto itself, a piece of the earth that had been set apart, yet still connected to the whole. Some were small and delicate, their beaches soft and inviting, while others were larger, their interiors filled with dense forests and towering cliffs. The islands were places of wonder, sanctuaries of life where creatures of the sea and land could meet. There were cradles of diversity, each one teeming with its own unique forms of life, from the smallest insects to the grandest trees. The islands were jewels in the crown of the earth, their beauty unmatched, their presence a testament to the creativity and power of Bathala. The formation of these landforms, mountains, rivers, and islands, was not just a physical act, it was a creation of spirit and soul. Each mountain, each river, each island held within it a piece of Bathala's heart, a reflection of his vision for the earth. They were more than just features of the landscape, they were living beings, infused with the essence of the divine, with the power to shape the lives of those who would one day walk the earth. As the mountains rose, they became places of refuge, where the spirits of the earth could find solace and strength. The rivers, with their flowing waters, became the veins of the land, carrying life and sustenance to all corners of the earth. And the islands, surrounded by the sea, became places of mystery and magic, where the boundaries between the earth and the ocean blurred, where the spirit of the earth and the spirit of the sea could dance together in harmony. Bathala looked upon the world he had shaped and saw that it was good. The land was no longer flat and featureless, it was a place of wonder and beauty, a land where the forces of nature had come together to create something truly magnificent. The mountains, rivers, and islands stood as a testament to the power of creation, to the belief that from the simplest elements, the most extraordinary things could be born. And so, the first landforms were created, not just as physical features of the earth, but as symbols of the connection between the divine and the mortal, between the creator and the created. They were the bones of the earth, the foundation upon which all life would be built. And in their presence, one could feel the hand of Bathala, guiding, shaping, and giving life to the world that was now complete. In the stillness of a time long past, before the world was as we know it today, there was a being of such immense power and grace that the very universe seemed to move at his command. This being was Bathala, the supreme god, the one who breathed life into the earth and the sky, who fashioned the stars and set the sun ablaze in the heavens. Bathala was more than just a deity, he was the essence of creation, the force that bound all things together, the source of life itself. Bathala's presence was felt in every corner of the world. He was the air that whispered through the trees, the fire that burned in the heart of the mountains, the water that flowed in the rivers, and the earth that provided shelter and sustenance to all living beings. His power was unmatched, his wisdom infinite, and his love for the world he created was as vast as the ocean, as deep as the night sky. The stories told about Bathala are countless, each one more wondrous than the last. It is said that when the world was young, Bathala lived in the heavens, watching over the earth with eyes that saw all, with a heart that felt every joy and sorrow of his creation. He was a god of great strength, yet his heart was tender, full of compassion for the creatures he had made. Bathala's care for the earth was so profound that every tree, every blade of grass, every creature, great and small, carried a piece of his spirit within them. One story speaks of how Bathala created the earth, not with a loud command or a wave of his hand, but with a gentle touch, a breath that stirred the void into life. He gathered the elements, earth, air, fire, and water, and blended them with care, forming the world with a love that was as patient as it was powerful. He shaped the mountains with his hands, carved the rivers with his fingers, and placed the stars in the sky like jewels in a crown. Yet, Bathala was not only a creator, he was also a protector. There were times when darkness threatened to consume the world, when malevolent forces sought to undo the work of creation. But Bathala, in his wisdom and strength, stood as a guardian over his creation. He fought the forces of chaos, driving them back into the void, ensuring that the light of the world would never be extinguished. The people revered Bathala not just for his power, but for his unwavering dedication to the well-being of the earth and its inhabitants. The worship of Bathala was a central part of life for the people of the ancient Philippines. They built altars in his honor, simple yet sacred places where they could offer their prayers and thanks. These altars were often found in nature, under the shade of a great tree, by the side of a clear river, or on a mountaintop where the sky seemed closest. It was in these places, surrounded by the beauty of the natural world, that the people felt Bathala's presence most strongly. Offerings were made to Bathala, gifts of food, flowers, and incense, tokens of gratitude for the blessings he bestowed upon the earth. The people prayed for his guidance, for protection from harm, for good harvests and safe journeys. They sang songs in his honor, songs that told of his greatness, of the love he had for the world he had created. These songs were passed down from generation to generation, each note, each word, a tribute to the God who gave them life. But Bathala was not a distant God, watching from afar. He was close to his people, listening to their prayers, walking among them in spirit. It is said that Bathala would sometimes take the form of an old man, wandering through villages, speaking with the people, offering wisdom and comfort. He would sit by the fireside, listening to their stories, sharing in their joys and sorrows. And though they may not have recognized him, they felt his presence, the warmth of his spirit, the love that flowed from him like the rays of the sun. There is a tale of a time when a great drought struck the land. The rivers dried up, the crops withered, and the people were desperate. They prayed to Bathala, begging for his help, for the rain that would save them. And Bathala, hearing their cries, took pity on them. He called upon the clouds to gather, to bring forth rain to quench the thirst of the earth. But the clouds were stubborn, refusing to move, and the drought continued. Seeing the suffering of his people, Bathala descended from the heavens and walked among them. He spoke to the earth, to the rivers, to the very sky, pleading with them to bring life back to the land. His words were filled with such love and sorrow that the earth itself wept, the rivers sighed, and the sky, at last, opened up. The rain fell in torrents, soaking the parched land, filling the rivers, and bringing the crops back to life. The people rejoiced, knowing that Bathala had not abandoned them, that his love for them was as endless as the rain that fell from the sky. Bathala's attributes were many: strength, wisdom, compassion, and love. He was a God who cared deeply for the world he had created, who listened to the prayers of his people, who walked among them in times of need. He was a God who could be fierce when defending his creation, yet gentle in his love for all living things. His presence was felt in every aspect of life, from the warmth of the sun to the coolness of the evening breeze, from the strength of the mountains to the flow of the rivers. As time passed, the stories of Bathala continued to be told, his name whispered in prayers, his spirit invoked in times of need. The people never forgot the God who had created them, who had shaped the world they lived in, who had protected them from harm. Bathala's love for the earth, his dedication to its care, was something that was passed down through the generations, a legacy of faith and devotion that would endure for all time. In the hearts of the people, Bathala remains the supreme God, the creator, the protector, the one who watches over the world with eyes full of love and a heart that beats in rhythm with the earth itself. His spirit lives on in the land he created, in the mountains and rivers, in the trees and the sky. And as long as there are those who remember, Bathala's presence will never fade, his love will never dim, and his story will continue to be told, echoing through the ages. On nights when the world is bathed in silver light, when the moon hangs in the sky like a watchful eye, there is a presence that can be felt, a gentle force that touches the heart and stirs the soul. This is the time of Mayari, the moon goddess, whose soft light guides the lost, soothes the weary, and brings peace to the night. Mayari is more than just the moon. She is a symbol of beauty, resilience, and quiet strength, a goddess who carries the burdens of the night with grace and dignity. The story of Mayari is one of love, sacrifice, and unyielding determination. She was the daughter of Bathala, the supreme god, and her light was said to be as bright and powerful as that of the sun. She was beautiful, with a presence that was both calming and commanding, and she was deeply loved by all who knew her. Mayari ruled the night with a gentle hand, her light bringing comfort and safety to the world below. But Mayari's life was not without pain. Her story is one of a deep wound, a loss that would forever change the way she shone in the sky. It is said that Mayari had a brother, Apolaki, the god of the sun. Together, they ruled the heavens, Apolaki during the day and Mayari at night, their lights sharing the sky in harmony. The world thrived under their care, the balance of light and darkness bringing life to all. However, this balance was not destined to last. One day, Apolaki, in his pride and desire for greater power, challenged Mayari for the right to rule the sky alone. He wanted the day and the night to be his, to fill the world with his blinding light, leaving no room for the gentle glow of the moon. Mayari, though gentle in spirit, would not let her brother take away what she held dear. She loved the night and the world that thrived under her light, and she knew that without the moon, the earth would lose its rhythm, its balance. The siblings argued, their words sharp and filled with pain. The tension between them grew, and eventually, it erupted into a battle, a clash of light and shadow, of sun and moon. The heavens trembled as brother and sister fought, their powers colliding in a storm of fury and sorrow. The light of the sun blazed fiercely, while the light of the moon stood firm, refusing to be extinguished. But Apolaki's strength was great, and in the heat of their battle, he struck Mayari, wounding her deeply. The pain she felt was unlike anything she had ever known, a searing ache that pierced her heart. Her light flickered, dimming as she struggled to hold on. Yet, even in her pain, Mayari did not falter. She refused to give up, refused to let her brother's pride destroy the night. With every ounce of strength she had left, Mayari held on to her place in the sky. The battle left Mayari scarred, her once perfect light now marred by the wound inflicted by her brother. Her glow, which had once matched that of the sun, was now softer, gentler, a light that was no longer as bright, but still beautiful in its own way. The world below mourned for her, for the loss of her full light, but they also found comfort in the gentle glow that remained. The moon, though no longer whole, still shone, and in that light, there was a quiet strength, a reminder of Mayari's resilience and grace. From that day on, the moon's light was not always constant. It waxed and waned, a cycle that reflected Mayari's own struggle with her wound, her efforts to heal and regain her strength. There were nights when the moon was full, her light bright and strong, a glimpse of the power she once had. And there were nights when the moon was but a sliver, her light faint and delicate, a reminder of the pain she carried within her. Yet, even in her diminished state, Mayari remained a source of comfort and hope. The people of the earth looked to the moon for guidance, for protection in the dark of night. They prayed to Mayari, asking for her blessings, for her light to watch over them as they slept. Her presence in the sky was a reminder that even in the face of great pain, there is beauty and strength to be found. The lunar cycles became a symbol of Mayari's journey, her rise, her fall, and her resilience. Each phase of the moon told a part of her story. The new moon, dark and hidden, spoke of her pain and loss. The waxing moon, growing in light, told of her healing. The full moon, bright and powerful, was a testament to her enduring strength, and the waning moon, slowly dimming, was a reminder that even in moments of weakness, there is still light. Mayari's worship was a quiet, personal affair. The people honored her not with grand ceremonies, but with simple acts of devotion. They would light candles in her name, their small flames a reflection of the moon's gentle glow. They would sing soft songs to her, songs that spoke of love, of loss, of hope. And they would leave offerings of flowers and rice at altars beneath the open sky, gifts for the goddess who watched over them from above. In times of hardship, when the darkness seemed too great to bear, the people would look to the moon and find comfort in her light. They knew that Mayari, despite her wound, continued to shine, and so too could they find the strength to carry on. Her story became a source of inspiration, a reminder that even in the face of adversity, there is always a light to guide the way. Mayari's legacy is one of quiet resilience, of beauty born from pain. She is the goddess who, despite her wound, continued to shine, her light a beacon of hope in the dark of night. Her story is a reminder that strength is not always loud or fierce. Sometimes it is gentle, persistent, and unyielding. The moon's light, though soft and scarred, is no less powerful, no less beautiful. It is a light that endures, that continues to guide and comfort, a testament to the goddess who gave it life. At the break of dawn, when the first rays of sunlight pierce through the darkness, there is a sense of awakening, a surge of energy that sweeps across the land. This is the moment when Apolaki, the sun god, rises in all his glory, his light banishing the shadows and filling the world with warmth and life. Apolaki is a force of nature, fierce and unrelenting, the embodiment of power and might. His presence is felt in the heat of the day, in the sweat of laborers, and the strength of warriors as they prepare for battle. Apolaki's story is one of ambition, of a burning desire to rule the heavens, to be the sole bearer of light. He was the son of Bathala, destined for greatness, his spirit as fiery as the sun he commanded. From a young age, Apolaki was drawn to the light, fascinated by its power, its ability to drive away darkness and bring life to the earth. He saw himself as the rightful ruler of the sky, believing that his light should reign supreme, that the world would be stronger, better, under his unwavering gaze. But there was another who shared the heavens with him, his sister, Mayari, the moon goddess. Together, they brought balance to the world, Apolaki ruling the day, and Mayari watching over the night. For a time, this balance was enough, the sun and the moon working in harmony, each knowing their place, their role in the grand design of the universe. Yet, as Apolaki's power grew, so did his desire. The sun was a blazing force, relentless in its strength, and Apolaki could feel that strength coursing through his veins, urging him to take more, to be more. He looked at the night, at the moon's gentle light, and he saw weakness, a softness that he believed had no place in the world. The sun was strong, fierce, and Apolaki wanted that strength to fill every corner of the sky, to drive out the darkness completely. His ambition led him to challenge Mayari, to demand that she relinquish her hold on the night and let him rule both day and night. It was a challenge born not out of malice, but out of a deep-seated belief that the world would be better under his control, that his light was the only light the world needed. But Mayari, though gentle, was not weak. She loved the night, loved the peace it brought, the way it allowed the world to rest, to heal. She refused to step aside, refused to let her brother's ambition destroy the balance that was so vital to life. The battle that followed was inevitable, a clash of light and shadow that shook the very foundations of the sky. Apolaki, with his blazing light, sought to overwhelm Mayari, to extinguish her gentle glow. The heavens were filled with the roar of their struggle, the sun and moon locked in a dance of fury and pain. Apolaki fought with all the strength of the sun, his light blinding, searing, a force that seemed unstoppable. But Mayari did not yield. She fought with a quiet determination, her light soft but unbreakable, her love for the night giving her the strength to stand against her brother. The battle was long and brutal, neither willing to give up, each knowing that the fate of the world hung in the balance. In the end, it was Apolaki's pride that was his downfall. In his desire to conquer the night, he struck out in anger, wounding Mayari deeply. Her light flickered, and for a moment, it seemed as if the night would be lost forever. But in that moment, Apolaki realized the depth of his mistake. He saw the pain in his sister's eyes, the sorrow that his ambition had caused, and he knew that he had gone too far. The wound he inflicted on Mayari did more than scar her, it scarred Apolaki as well. He realized that the balance between light and darkness was not something to be destroyed, but something to be cherished, that the world needed both the sun and the moon to thrive. Apolaki withdrew, his light dimming as the weight of his actions settled on him. He returned to his place in the sky, ruling the day as he always had, but with a new understanding of his role, of the importance of the night and the light that his sister provided. Apolaki's influence did not end with the battle. His strength, his courage, became a symbol for warriors, for those who fought not just with weapons, but with their hearts, their spirits. Warriors looked to Apolaki for guidance, for the strength to stand tall in the face of adversity, to fight with honor and bravery. They prayed to him before battle, asking for his light to fill them, to give them the power to overcome their enemies, to protect their loved ones. Apolaki's light became more than just the sun in the sky. It became a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the fiercest of battles, there is a force that guides, that protects. His name was invoked in war chants, his strength drawn upon in times of need. Warriors believed that as long as the sun shone, as long as Apolaki's light filled the sky, they would have the courage to face whatever came their way. And so, Apolaki's legacy lived on, not just as the sun god, but as a symbol of strength, of resilience. His light continued to blaze in the sky, a reminder of the power of the sun, of the importance of balance, of the need to respect both the light and the dark. The battle for supremacy had taught him humility, had shown him the value of harmony, and his influence on the world was forever changed. The sun still rises each day, a testament to Apolaki's strength, his power. But there is a softness to its light now, a warmth that speaks of the lessons learned, of the wounds healed. Apolaki's light is still fierce, still strong, but it is tempered by the knowledge that true power comes not from domination, but from understanding, from respect for the balance that allows the world to thrive. There was a time when the earth was barren, when the soil lay untouched, waiting, longing for the touch of life. The land was quiet, still, like a canvas yearning for the first stroke of color. And then, from the depths of the earth's heart, a gentle warmth began to rise, a whisper of promise that would soon transform the world. This was the presence of Lacapa, the goddess of fertility, whose very essence was life itself. Lacapa was more than a deity, she was the pulse of the earth, the breath of the fields, the spirit that brought the soil to life. With every step she took, the ground beneath her feet awakened, flowers unfurling their petals, trees stretching their branches toward the sky, and the seeds hidden deep within the earth stirring, ready to burst forth into the light. Her presence was felt in every rustle of the leaves, and the soft murmur of the wind through the rice paddies, and the gentle hum of bees as they danced from blossom to blossom. In the eyes of the people, Lacapa was a mother, a nurturer who held the power to bring forth the bounty of the earth. She was the one who ensured that the rains would fall, that the rivers would flow, that the crops would grow tall and strong. The farmers, who relied on the land for their survival, knew that without Lacapa's blessing, their fields would remain barren, their efforts would be in vain. They looked to her with hope, with reverence, their hearts filled with gratitude for the gifts she bestowed upon them. But Lacapa's gifts were not given lightly. They came with a deep understanding of the bond between the earth and its people, a bond that required respect, care, and love. The land was not something to be taken from, but something to be cherished, to be nurtured in return. The farmers knew this, and they honored Lacapa with rituals that were as old as the land itself, rituals that connected them to the earth, to the cycles of life and death, growth and decay. These rituals were simple, yet profound. Before the seeds were sown, the farmers would gather in the fields, their hands filled with offerings of rice, fruit, and flowers. They would kneel on the ground, their fingers brushing the soil, feeling its coolness, its promise. With eyes closed, they would whisper prayers to Lacapa, asking for her blessing, for her guidance, for her to breathe life into the seeds they were about to plant. There was no grand ceremony, no elaborate display, just a quiet conversation between the people and the goddess who watched over them. As the seasons passed, the farmers would continue to honor Lacapa, thanking her for the rain that nourished the crops, for the sun that warmed the earth, for the harvest that filled their granaries. They understood that their lives were intertwined with the land, that the food on their tables was a gift from the earth, a gift made possible by Lacapa's grace. And so, with every meal, they would offer a small portion of their food to her, placing it in a simple bowl by the hearth, a gesture of gratitude, a reminder of the goddess who made their lives possible. Lacapati's influence extended beyond the fields, beyond the harvest. She was also the goddess of fertility in the broader sense, the one who blessed women with the gift of life, who watched over mothers as they brought new life into the world. In her, they found comfort, strength, and the assurance that they were never alone. Pregnant women would wear amulets in her name, small tokens that symbolized her protection, her care. They would pray to her during childbirth, asking for a safe delivery, for the health of their child. And when a child was born, the first cry that filled the air was seen as Lacapati's blessing, a sign that the goddess was present, watching over the new life that had just begun. In the villages, Lacapati's presence was a constant, a gentle reminder of the cycles of life that governed the world. She was celebrated in the festivals that marked the planting season, the harvest, and the birth of new children. These festivals were filled with music, dance, and laughter, a celebration of life in all its forms. The people would gather in the village square, their faces lit by the soft glow of lanterns, their voices raised in song, their bodies moving in time with the rhythm of the drums. It was a time of joy, of community, of coming together to honor the goddess who had given them so much. But Lacapati was not just a goddess of life, she was also a reminder of the fragility of that life, of the delicate balance that held the world together. The farmers knew that the earth could be as unforgiving as it was generous, that a season of drought or a failed crop could bring hardship, suffering, even death. They understood that their relationship with the land was one of give and take, that they had to care for the earth as much as it cared for them. This understanding was at the heart of their rituals, their prayers, their everyday actions. They knew that Lacapati's blessings were not guaranteed, that they had to be earned through respect, through love, through a deep connection to the land. In the quiet moments, when the fields were still, and the sky was painted with the colors of dusk, the farmers would sit and reflect on the world around them. They would feel the earth beneath them, solid and strong, yet alive with the potential for growth, for life. They would look at the crops swaying gently in the breeze, at the trees heavy with fruit, and they would know that they were part of something greater, something sacred. They were the caretakers of the land, the stewards of Lacapati's gifts, and they took that responsibility seriously. And so, as the years passed, the people continued to honor Lacapati, to celebrate her gifts, to live their lives in harmony with the earth. They understood that their existence was a gift from the goddess, that the food they ate, the children they raised, the life they lived, all came from her. And in return, they gave her their love, their respect, their gratitude. Lacapati was more than just a goddess, she was a part of their lives, a part of their hearts, a symbol of the connection between the earth and its people. And in that connection, they found strength, peace, and the knowledge that as long as they honored her, the earth would continue to provide, to nourish, to sustain them. In the quiet stillness of the night, when the world seemed to hold its breath, a soft glow would begin to spread across the heavens. It was as if the sky itself was coming to life, its dark expanse dotted with countless stars, each one a beacon of hope, a promise of safety for those who dared to venture into the unknown. And among those stars, one shone brighter than the rest, a guiding light for the lost, a companion for the lonely. This was Tala, the star goddess, whose light touched the hearts of travelers and seafarers, guiding them through the vast and treacherous seas. Tala was not just a goddess, she was a protector, a guardian who watched over those who journeyed far from home. Her light was a source of comfort, a reminder that even in the darkest of nights, they were never truly alone. The seafarers, who spent days and nights navigating the endless ocean, knew this well. They would stand on the decks of their ships, their eyes fixed on the night sky, searching for Tala's light. And when they found it, their hearts would lift, their spirits would soar, for they knew that as long as Tala was with them, they would find their way. The ocean was a place of mystery, of danger, where the line between life and death was as thin as a whisper. The waves could rise up like mountains, the wind could howl like a beast, and the sky could turn as dark as a raven's wing. But even in the midst of a storm, when all seemed lost, Tala's light would break through, a single star shining with unwavering strength. It was a sign, a message from the goddess that they were not forsaken, that they would survive the night and see the dawn once more. The travelers, too, looked to Tala for guidance. Whether they were crossing vast deserts, winding through dense forests, or making their way through unfamiliar lands, they knew that the stars above were their map, their compass, and that Tala was the one who held that map in her hands. Her light was a constant, steady and true, leading them forward, showing them the way. It was said that Tala could see the paths that others could not, that she could guide travelers safely through the most treacherous terrain, helping them avoid dangers that lay hidden in the shadows. But Tala's light was not just a guide, it was a symbol of hope, a reminder that no matter how far they traveled, no matter how lost they felt, there was always a way home. The travelers would often speak of a feeling, a warmth that would fill their hearts when they saw Tala's star, as if the goddess herself was reaching out to them, telling them that they were not alone, that they were being watched over, cared for. It was this feeling that gave them the strength to keep going, to take one more step, to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Tala was also a storyteller, her light weaving tales across the sky. The stars were her words, each one a piece of a story that she told to those who would listen. The seafarers and travelers would look up at the night sky, and they would see more than just stars. They would see the stories that Tala had written, stories of love and loss, of bravery and sacrifice, of heroes and gods. These stories were a part of their lives, a part of their culture, passed down from generation to generation, told around campfires, whispered in the dark of night. They were a way for the people to connect with Tala, to feel her presence in their lives, to know that they were part of something greater, something timeless. And so, Tala became more than just a goddess. She became a friend, a companion who was always there, always watching, always guiding. Her light was a promise that no matter how far they traveled, they would never be lost, that they would always find their way home. The seafarers and travelers knew that as long as Tala's stars shone in the sky, they had nothing to fear, that they could face any challenge, overcome any obstacle. Tala's light was their strength, their courage, their hope. In the quiet moments, when the night was still and the world was at rest, the seafarers and travelers would often find themselves gazing up at the sky, their eyes drawn to Tala's star. They would feel a sense of peace, a sense of connection, as if they were part of the story that Tala was telling, a story that stretched across the heavens, a story that would never end. They knew that no matter where their journey took them, Tala would always be there, her light a beacon in the darkness, her presence a comfort in the unknown. And so, Tala's light continued to shine, guiding, protecting, comforting. Her star was a symbol of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest of nights, there was always light, always a way forward. The seafarers and travelers would carry Tala's light with them, in their hearts, in their minds, in their stories. They would pass it on to their children, and their children's children, ensuring that Tala's legacy would live on, that her light would continue to guide those who dared to venture into the unknown. In the end, Tala was not just a goddess of the stars, she was a goddess of the heart, of the soul, a goddess who touched the lives of those who looked to the sky and found her light. Her star was more than just a point of light in the night sky. It was a beacon of hope, a symbol of strength, a reminder that no matter how dark the night, there was always a way home. And in that light, the seafarers and travelers found the courage to keep going, the strength to face the unknown, and the hope that no matter where their journey took them, they would never be lost. When the people of Ilocos speak of heroes, there is one name that echoes through the mountains and whispers in the winds, Lam-ang. His story is not just a tale of bravery, but a legend that pulses with life, resonating in the hearts of those who hear it. Lam-ang was no ordinary man. From the moment of his birth, he was destined for greatness, a hero born under extraordinary circumstances, whose feats would be sung for generations. Lam-ang came into the world not with a cry, but with words, speaking as soon as he was born. His mother, Namangin, cradled him in her arms, stunned and amazed as her newborn son spoke with the wisdom of a man. He asked of his father, Don Juan, who had gone off to battle the fierce Igorot warriors in the mountains. Namangin's heart ached as she told her son that his father had not returned, feared lost in the treacherous fight. Though he was just a few days old, Lam-ang's heart burned with the fire of vengeance. He knew he could not sit idly by, not when his father's fate remained unknown. Without hesitation, he declared that he would set out to find Don Juan, to bring him back or to avenge his death if need be. The villagers gasped in disbelief, watching this infant who spoke like a warrior, but they did not stand in his way. They knew they were witnessing something beyond their understanding, something touched by the gods. Lam-ang grew rapidly, his body maturing in days what would take others years. By the time he was ready to leave, he was already a man in strength and size, though still a boy in age. He donned his father's armor, a sight that filled the people with awe, for it seemed as if Don Juan himself had returned, younger, stronger, and more determined. The journey to the mountains was long and fraught with danger, but Lam-ang was undeterred. He traveled with his loyal companions, a rooster named Serena and a loyal dog, who were not mere animals but creatures of great power and wisdom. Together, they faced countless trials, from battling wild beasts to crossing raging rivers, each challenge met with courage and cleverness. The land itself seemed to recognize Lam-ang, bending to his will, as if the earth and sky were watching over him, guiding his steps. At last, Lam-ang reached the land of the Igorots, where the air was thick with the scent of war and the ground stained with blood. He confronted the chieftain who had slain his father, and the battle that ensued was nothing short of epic. The earth trembled under the force of their blows, and the sky darkened as if mourning the violence below. But Lam-ang fought with the strength of 100 men, his fury like a storm that could not be contained. In the end, it was Lam-ang who stood victorious, his enemy defeated at his feet. But his victory was bittersweet, for his father was gone, lost to the violence that had claimed so many. Lam-ang returned home, carrying not just the news of his triumph, but the heavy burden of his loss. The people of his village welcomed him as a hero, but they also saw the sorrow in his eyes, the weight of his father's death that no victory could erase. Yet, Lam-ang's story did not end in sorrow. For in his heart, there was also hope, a hope that led him to the love of his life, Ines Kanoyan. She was the most beautiful woman in all the land, and Lam-ang knew that he had to win her heart. But winning Ines's love was no easy task. Her suitors were many, and her standards high. Yet, Lam-ang was undeterred. He traveled to Kalanushan, where Ines lived, determined to prove himself worthy of her love. The journey was long, and the challenges great, but Lam-ang was no stranger to hardship. He faced each test with the same courage and cleverness that had served him so well before. And when he finally reached Ines's home, he did not come empty-handed. He brought with him gifts of gold, proof of his success and his worth. But more than that, he brought stories of his adventures, tales of his bravery that captured Ines's heart. Ines Kanoyan was smitten, not just by Lam-ang's strength and courage, but by the love and loyalty that shone in his eyes. She saw in him a man who had faced the world and emerged victorious, a man who had suffered great loss but had not let it harden his heart. And so, she agreed to marry him, their love a beacon that shone as brightly as any star. The wedding of Lam-ang and Ines was a grand affair, a celebration that lasted for days. The people of Ilocos gathered to witness the union of their hero and his beloved, their hearts filled with joy and pride. It was a time of happiness, a brief respite from the struggles of life, a reminder that even in the darkest times, there is always light, always love. But even in marriage, Lam-ang's adventures were not over. For life is never simple, and happiness is always fleeting. Tragedy struck once more when Lam-ang, in a test of his courage, dived into the mouth of a giant fish, only to be swallowed whole. The people mourned, thinking their hero lost forever, but Ines's love was strong, her belief in her husband unwavering. She called upon Lam-ang's loyal companions, Serena and his dog, to help bring him back. Through their combined efforts, Lam-ang was rescued, pulled from the belly of the fish, and returned to his people. It was a miracle, a testament to the power of love and loyalty, to the strength of a hero who would not be defeated, not even by death. Lam-ang returned to his people, not just as a hero, but as a symbol of hope, a reminder that even in the face of the greatest challenges, there is always a way forward. And so, the story of Lam-ang lives on, a tale told by the fireside, whispered in the dark, carried in the hearts of the people. It is a story of bravery, of love, of loss, and of hope. A story that reminds us that heroes are not born, they are made through the trials they face, the battles they fight, and the love that guides them. Lam-ang's name will never be forgotten, for as long as there are those who believe in the power of hope, his story will continue to be told, his legend will continue to inspire, and his spirit will continue to guide those who dare to dream, those who dare to believe in the extraordinary. In the heart of the mountains, where the earth trembles and the rocks seem to whisper old, forgotten secrets, there lies the tale of a man whose strength defied the very forces of nature. His name is Bernardo Carpio, a name that resonates with power, struggle, and a fierce, undying will for freedom. Bernardo Carpio was no ordinary man. He was a giant among men, both in stature and spirit. Born of humble beginnings, he grew up with a quiet strength, the kind that lies dormant until it is needed most. As a child, he played among the trees, his laughter ringing out like a song in the wind, but even then, there was something about him, something that set him apart. His strength was beyond measure, and as he grew, so did his reputation. The people spoke of him with awe, calling him the strongest man to have ever walked the land. But Bernardo Carpio was more than just strong. He was a man with a deep love for his people, a love that burned brighter than the sun. He saw the suffering around him, the way the powerful oppressed the weak, the way the rich trampled on the poor, and his heart ached with the need to make things right. But the world is not kind to those who challenge the order of things. Bernardo's strength, his very existence, was seen as a threat by those in power. The rulers of the land feared him, feared what he represented, the possibility of change, the hope of freedom. They knew they could not allow such a man to roam free, for his presence alone was enough to inspire rebellion, to stir the hearts of the oppressed. And so, a plan was devised. They would trap Bernardo Carpio, not with chains or walls, for no man-made prison could hold him, but with the very earth itself. Deep in the mountains, between two massive boulders, they lured him with trickery and deceit. The ground shook as the rocks closed in around him, sealing him in a prison of stone, a prison from which there seemed no escape. But even as the mountains trapped him, they could not break his spirit. Bernardo Carpio pushed against the rocks with all his might, his muscles straining, his breath coming in ragged gasps. The earth trembled under the force of his struggle, the mountains themselves groaning in protest. Yet, no matter how hard he pushed, the rocks held firm, and Bernardo was trapped, caught between the unyielding stones. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and still, Bernardo Carpio fought. His strength never wavered, his resolve never faltered. The people below could feel the earth shaking, could hear the distant rumble of his efforts, and they knew that he was still there, still fighting. His struggle became a symbol, a reminder that no matter how dire the circumstances, no matter how impossible the odds, one must never give up. The legend of Bernardo Carpio spread far and wide, reaching the ears of those who had never seen him, who had never heard his voice. They spoke of him in hushed tones, their hearts filled with a mixture of sorrow and admiration. For they knew that Bernardo's struggle was not just his own, it was their struggle too. His fight for freedom, his refusal to be broken, was a beacon of hope in a world that had grown dark and cold. As the years passed, the legend of Bernardo Carpio grew. Some said that he was still alive, still trapped between the rocks, still pushing against the unmovable stones. Others believed that he had long since passed, his body now part of the mountains themselves, his spirit watching over those who continued to fight for freedom. But no matter what they believed, one thing was certain: Bernardo Carpio's story would never be forgotten. For in his struggle, there was a lesson, a truth that resonated with all who heard it. It was a reminder that true strength does not come from the body, but from the spirit. That real freedom is not something that can be given or taken away, but something that lives within, something that must be fought for, no matter the cost. Bernardo Carpio's struggle was more than just a battle against the forces that sought to imprison him, it was a battle for the soul of a people. His fight was their fight, his strength their strength. And as long as his story was told, as long as his name was remembered, there was hope. Hope that one day, the rocks would give way, that the mountains would bow, and that Bernardo Carpio, the giant warrior, would walk free once more. And so, the legend lives on, passed down from generation to generation, a story of strength, of struggle, and of an unbreakable will. Bernardo Carpio may have been trapped, but in his imprisonment, he found a freedom that could never be taken from him. A freedom that lives on in the hearts of all who hear his tale, a reminder that as long as there is breath in the body, as long as there is fire in the soul, there is always a way forward. There is always hope. There is a place where the mountains kiss the sky, where the trees stand tall and proud, and where the air is thick with the scent of pine and the whispers of forgotten tales. In this place, where the world seems untouched by time, there is a story that lives in every rustle of the leaves and every ripple of the streams. It is the story of Maria Makiling, the mountain goddess, whose presence lingers in the hearts of those who dare to believe in the magic of the old world. Maria Makiling is a name that carries with it a sense of mystery, of beauty, and of an unspoken sadness. She is said to be the guardian of Mount Makiling, a mountain that rises majestically in the heart of the Philippines, its slopes covered in lush greenery, its peak often shrouded in mist. But Maria is more than just a guardian. She is a spirit of the land, a being of immense power and grace, whose love for the earth and all its creatures knows no bounds. The tales of Maria Makiling are many, each one a thread in the rich tapestry of her legend. But at the heart of them all lies a story of love, of loss, and of a deep, abiding sorrow. It is said that Maria Makiling was once a young woman, as beautiful as the dawn, with hair as black as the night and eyes that sparkled like the stars. She was kind and gentle, with a heart as pure as the mountain streams, and she loved the people who lived in the villages at the foot of her mountain. She would often come down from her mountain home to help those in need, her presence always heralded by the sweet scent of flowers and the sound of birdsong. The villagers loved her dearly, and they would leave offerings of fruits and flowers at the base of the mountain to show their gratitude. Maria, in turn, blessed their fields with bountiful harvests and protected them from harm, her love for them as deep and as constant as the mountain itself. But as with all stories of love, there is also pain. Maria Makiling fell in love with a young man from the village, a love that was as pure and as true as any the world has ever known. They would meet in secret, under the cover of night, their love growing with each passing day. But the world is not always kind to those who love deeply, and their happiness was not to last. The young man, like so many before him, was tempted by the promise of wealth and power. He left the village, promising to return to Maria, but the world beyond the mountain was cruel and unforgiving. He was lost to her, his heart consumed by the greed and ambition that had taken him from her side. Maria waited for him, her heart breaking a little more with each passing day, but he never returned. The pain of her loss was too much to bear, and Maria retreated to her mountain, her once bright spirit dimmed by sorrow. She withdrew from the world, her laughter no longer heard in the valleys, her light no longer shining in the darkness. The villagers, who had once been blessed by her presence, now felt the weight of her absence. Their fields grew barren, their homes were plagued by illness and misfortune, and they knew that they had lost something precious. But even in her sorrow, Maria Makiling could not abandon the people she loved. She continued to watch over them from afar, her heart aching with the knowledge that she could never be with them again. She protected them as best she could, her spirit a constant presence on the mountain, her love for them as enduring as the earth itself. The tales of Maria Makiling's love and loss are still told today, whispered by the wind that dances through the trees, carried by the streams that flow down the mountain. She is a reminder of the power of love, of the pain that comes with it, and of the strength that lies in protecting what you hold dear, even when your heart is broken. Maria Makiling is also a figure of protection, a guardian who watches over the land and its people with a fierce and unwavering love. There are stories of how she would punish those who sought to harm the mountain or its inhabitants, her wrath as terrible as her love is deep. She is said to have turned men into stone, caused landslides to bury those who defiled the forest, and even sent storms to drive away those who sought to take from the mountain without giving anything in return. But for those who respected the land, who honored the mountain and its guardian, Maria Makiling was a source of great blessings. She would guide lost travelers, her gentle touch leading them back to safety. She would heal the sick, her presence bringing comfort and relief to those in pain. And she would bless the harvests, her love for the people manifesting in the abundance of the earth. There are those who say that Maria Makiling still walks the slopes of her mountain, her spirit as strong and as present as ever. They say that if you listen closely, you can hear her voice in the rustle of the leaves, feel her touch in the gentle breeze that brushes your skin. And if you are lucky, you might catch a glimpse of her, a figure clad in white, her hair flowing like a river of night, her eyes filled with the wisdom of the ages. But whether or not you believe in the tales, there is no denying the power of Maria Makiling's story. It is a story of love and loss, of protection and sacrifice, of a spirit that endures even in the face of overwhelming sorrow. It is a story that reminds us of the deep connection we share with the earth, of the need to protect and cherish the land that gives us life. Maria Makiling is more than just a goddess. She is a symbol of the enduring power of love, of the strength that lies in the heart of a protector, and of the deep, unbreakable bond between a guardian and the land she watches over. Her story is a testament to the resilience of the spirit, to the power of love and protection, and to the enduring presence of those who watch over us, even when we cannot see them. In the stillness of the night, when the world is cloaked in shadows and the air is thick with the scent of fear, there is something that stirs in the darkness. It is a presence that sends shivers down the spine, a creature that haunts the edges of dreams and the corners of the mind. This creature, with its hunger and its power, is known as the Aswang, a name that strikes terror into the hearts of those who hear it. The Aswang is not just one entity, but many, a family of shape-shifting ghouls, each more terrifying than the last. It is said that the Aswang can take on many forms, slipping between them with ease, its true nature hidden beneath layers of deceit. By day, it might appear as a regular person, blending in with the crowd, its eyes betraying nothing of the horrors it hides within. But by night, when the moon is high and the world is asleep, the Aswang reveals its true self, a creature of darkness, driven by an insatiable hunger. There are many types of Aswang, each with its own characteristics and abilities, but they all share one thing in common, a craving for human flesh. This craving is not just a desire, but a need, a hunger that gnaws at the very core of their being, driving them to seek out their prey. They are relentless in their pursuit, their senses heightened by the promise of a feast. They can smell fear, taste the salt of sweat on the air, and hear the beating of a terrified heart from miles away. One of the most feared types of Aswang is the Tikbalang, a creature that can take on the form of a human during the day, but at night transforms into a fearsome horse-like monster. Its eyes glow with an unnatural light, and its hooves are said to strike the ground with such force that the earth trembles beneath them. The Tikbalang is known for its strength and speed, and once it has set its sights on a victim, there is little that can be done to escape its grasp. Then there is the Manananggal, perhaps the most horrifying of all. By day, the Manananggal appears as an ordinary woman, beautiful and unassuming. But as night falls, she undergoes a gruesome transformation, her upper body splitting from her lower half, sprouting wings like a bat, and taking to the skies in search of prey. The Manananggal feeds on the blood of the living, particularly that of unborn children, and is said to have a tongue that can stretch impossibly long, slipping through cracks in walls and windows to reach its victims. The Tiktik is another variant, known for its ability to mimic the sounds of animals or even human voices to lure its prey. Its name comes from the sound it makes when it is near, a soft ticking noise that grows louder as it approaches. The Tiktik is especially feared for its cunning, often working in pairs or groups to isolate and overwhelm its target. The Aswang's encounters with humans are the stuff of nightmares, stories passed down from generation to generation, each one more chilling than the last. It is said that the Aswang can enter a home without making a sound, its presence only revealed by the sudden chill in the air or the feeling of dread that creeps over those inside. It is a master of disguise, able to mimic the voices of loved ones, to twist its features into a familiar face, luring its victims into a false sense of security before striking. One of the most terrifying aspects of the Aswang is its ability to curse those who cross its path. It is said that those who encounter an Aswang and live to tell the tale are often marked by the experience, cursed to live in fear for the rest of their days. The Aswang might leave a token of its presence, a strand of hair, a piece of clothing, or even a whisper in the wind, something to remind the victim that it is always watching, always waiting. But the Aswang is not without its weaknesses. It is said that it fears the light, particularly the light of day, which forces it back into its human form. Salt, garlic, and holy objects are also believed to repel the creature, their presence driving it away. Some say that the only way to truly kill an Aswang is to find its hidden heart, often kept in a jar or buried in a secret location, and destroy it. But such tasks are easier said than done, for the Aswang is a cunning and resourceful adversary, always one step ahead of those who seek to defeat it. The Aswang is a creature that embodies the fears and anxieties of the human condition, the fear of the unknown, the fear of the dark, and the fear of being hunted by something that cannot be seen or understood. It is a reminder that there are things in this world that defy explanation, that exist beyond the realm of reason and logic. The Aswang is a monster born of darkness, but it is also a reflection of the darkness that resides within all of us, the primal fear that lurks in the shadows, the hunger that drives us, and the lengths we will go to survive. Even today, the legend of the Aswang continues to haunt the Philippines, a specter that refuses to be forgotten. It is a story told in hushed tones, a warning to those who dare to wander too far from the safety of the light. And while the world has changed, and the old ways have given way to the new, the Aswang remains, a symbol of the enduring power of myth, and a reminder that some stories are too powerful to ever fade away. In the dense, mist-covered forests of the Philippines, where the trees seem to stretch endlessly into the sky and the shadows play tricks on the mind, there is a creature that stirs fear in the hearts of those who wander too far from the beaten path. The Tikbalang, a horse demon with the body of a man and the head of a beast, is said to lurk in these woods, waiting for the unwary traveler to cross its path. Stories of the Tikbalang have been passed down through generations, each tale more terrifying than the last. It is said that the Tikbalang is a guardian of the forest, a spirit that watches over the land, but also one that can be easily angered. When it is, its wrath is something to be feared. The creature is described as towering over men, with long, muscular limbs that end in hooves instead of feet. Its eyes burn with an otherworldly light, a mix of fury and ancient wisdom. Its hair, matted and wild, is said to have the power to curse those who dare to look upon it. Many who claim to have seen the Tikbalang speak of a presence that sends chills down the spine, a sense that they are being watched, even before they lay eyes on the creature itself. The forest grows unnaturally silent, the usual sounds of birds and insects replaced by an eerie quiet. Then, from the shadows, the Tikbalang emerges, its massive form moving with a grace that belies its size. It is a sight that one never forgets, a vision that haunts the dreams of those who are unfortunate enough to encounter it. The Tikbalang is not just a creature of legend, but a trickster as well. It is said that it delights in leading travelers astray, causing them to become hopelessly lost in the forest. Those who fall victim to its tricks find themselves wandering in circles, no matter how hard they try to find their way. The more they struggle, the more lost they become, until they are completely disoriented, their minds consumed by fear and panic. The Tikbalang watches from the shadows, reveling in their confusion, its laughter echoing through the trees. But there are ways to outwit the Tikbalang, to break free from its hold. It is said that to stop the creature's tricks, one must turn their clothes inside out, a simple act that somehow breaks the spell it casts. Others claim that to defeat the Tikbalang, one must find and pluck 3 golden hairs from its mane. But this is no easy task, for the Tikbalang guards these hairs fiercely, and to approach it requires more courage than most can muster. There are also those who believe that the Tikbalang can be appeased, that it is not a creature of pure evil, but one that can be reasoned with. Offerings of food, or even a simple prayer, can sometimes be enough to calm the creature's anger and allow the traveler to pass unharmed. But this is not always the case, and many who attempt to negotiate with the Tikbalang find themselves on the receiving end of its wrath instead. Despite its fearsome reputation, the Tikbalang is also a creature of mystery, its true nature shrouded in uncertainty. Some say that it is a protector of the forest, a spirit that ensures the natural world remains untouched by human hands. Others believe that it is a cursed soul, a human who has been transformed into a beast as punishment for some past sin. There are even those who claim that the Tikbalang is a remnant of an ancient race, a being that existed long before humans walked the earth, and that it is one of the last of its kind. The sightings of the Tikbalang are rare, but they are not unheard of. Even today, in the more remote parts of the Philippines, there are those who claim to have encountered the creature. These stories are often told in hushed tones, around campfires, or in the safety of one's home, for to speak of the Tikbalang is to invite its presence. Those who have seen it describe a creature that is both terrifying and awe-inspiring, a being that commands respect and fear in equal measure. One such story comes from a farmer who lived on the edge of a dense forest. He spoke of a night when he was returning home after a long day in the fields. The path was one he had walked many times before, but on this night, something felt different. The air was thick with tension, and the usual sounds of the forest were absent. As he walked, he felt a presence behind him, a sense that he was being followed. He quickened his pace, but the feeling only grew stronger. When he finally turned around, he saw the Tikbalang standing in the path behind him, its eyes glowing in the darkness. The farmer fell to his knees, offering a prayer to the creature, begging for his life. The Tikbalang stared at him for what felt like an eternity, before turning and disappearing into the trees. The farmer never walked that path alone again. Another story tells of a group of hunters who ventured deep into the forest, seeking game. They were skilled hunters, familiar with the ways of the woods, but on this day, nothing went as planned. Their prey eluded them at every turn, and the deeper they went, the more lost they became. As night fell, they realized they were no longer in control of their path. The Tikbalang was leading them deeper into the forest. Desperate, they tried to find their way back, but every path led them in circles. It was only when one of the hunters, remembering the old tales, turned his clothes inside out, that they were able to break free from the Tikbalang's hold and find their way home. These stories, whether true or not, are a reminder of the power of the Tikbalang and the respect that it commands. It is a creature that exists at the edge of the known world, a being that is both part of nature and separate from it. The Tikbalang is a guardian, a trickster, and a beast, all rolled into one, and it is a symbol of the mysteries that still exist in the world, waiting to be discovered. The Tikbalang is more than just a myth, it is a reflection of the human experience, a reminder of the unknown forces that shape our lives and the fears that lurk in the shadows. It is a creature that speaks to the primal instincts within us all, the fear of the dark, the unknown, and the things that we cannot control. The Tikbalang is a story that will continue to be told for generations, a legend that will never fade, because it is a part of who we are, a part of the world we live in, and a part of the mysteries that will always remain just out of reach. In the stillness of a moonlit night, when the forest is draped in shadows and the air is thick with the scent of earth and leaves, there lurks a giant among the trees. The Kapre, a towering figure with a presence as grand as it is terrifying, is known for its cigar smoke that drifts through the night like a ghostly veil. The stories of this giant, half legend and half reality, are told in hushed tones around campfires and in the safety of homes. The Kapre is often depicted as a massive creature, much taller than the tallest trees, with a body that seems to blend seamlessly with the forest. Its skin is said to be dark and rough, like the bark of an ancient tree. This giant is not just an imposing figure but a deeply enigmatic being, whose habits and lair add layers to its already mysterious nature. The Kapre's presence is marked by the thick, heavy smoke of a cigar, which it is said to puff leisurely while resting against the trunks of trees. This smoke is not just a physical phenomenon but a sign of the Kapre's presence, filling the forest with a scent that clings to the air and makes the trees seem even more foreboding. People who have encountered the Kapre describe a chilling sense of being watched, as if the forest itself is alive and breathing. It is not uncommon for travelers to find their path suddenly obscured by a thick, impenetrable fog, the kind that seems to roll in from nowhere. In these moments, the pungent smell of cigar smoke fills their senses, and the quiet rustling of leaves seems to take on a sinister tone. The Kapre, while rarely seen directly, is often felt in these eerie moments when the forest seems to close in around the unwary. The stories of the Kapre are as varied as they are chilling. In one tale, a group of friends, eager to test their courage, ventured into the forest late at night. They laughed and joked, their voices echoing through the trees, until they noticed that the usual sounds of the forest had grown eerily silent. The fog rolled in, and the scent of cigar smoke surrounded them, thick and choking. They tried to find their way back, but the forest seemed to shift and change, the trees growing taller and the paths twisting impossibly. One of the friends, braver than the rest, dared to follow the smoke, hoping to confront the source of their fear. As he pushed through the dense fog, he glimpsed the massive figure of the Kapre, its glowing eyes staring down at him from the shadows. He stumbled back, his heart pounding, and the fog cleared just enough for them to find their way out. They never spoke of that night again, but the fear of that giant and its smoke never left them. Another story tells of a lone traveler who, desperate to find shelter, came upon a large tree in the forest. The tree was old and gnarled, its branches twisted like the fingers of some ancient, forgotten creature. The traveler, exhausted and cold, sat down against the tree, hoping to rest. As he settled in, he noticed a strange, sweet smell filling the air. The smoke of a cigar began to curl around him, and he felt an overwhelming sense of dread. He looked up and saw the dark figure of the Kapre watching him from the darkness of the forest. The traveler, paralyzed with fear, could do nothing but stay still as the Kapre's eyes bore into him. The smoke grew thicker, and the sense of the forest closing in became almost unbearable. When dawn finally broke, the Kapre was gone, and the traveler fled the forest, never to return. The Kapre's lair is said to be as elusive as the giant itself. Some stories speak of a hidden grove, a secret place deep in the forest where the Kapre keeps its cigars and rests among the ancient trees. Others claim that the Kapre dwells in a massive, hollow tree, a giant's abode that is both a home and a fortress. The lair is described as a place of dark enchantment, filled with the smoke of cigars and the heavy silence of the forest. It is said that the Kapre guards this place fiercely, and those who dare to enter are met with the full force of its wrath. To encounter the Kapre is to face a being that is as much a part of the forest as the trees themselves. It is a creature of shadows and smoke, a guardian of the woods that commands respect and fear. The Kapre's stories are a reminder of the power of the natural world and the mysteries that lie hidden within it. The giant, with its cigar smoke and enigmatic presence, stands as a symbol of the untamed wilderness, a reminder that there are forces beyond our understanding lurking just out of sight. The forest, with its whispered legends and shadowed paths, holds the Kapre as one of its most haunting and awe-inspiring secrets. Under the moon's eerie glow, the night becomes a canvas for shadows and fear. In the darkest hours, a chilling presence slips through the night, evoking nightmares with each rustle of leaves. The Manananggal, a creature of terror in Philippine folklore, has haunted the quietest corners of many a village, a fearsome entity that takes the art of horror to unsettling extremes. The Manananggal is no ordinary monster. By day, it appears as a beautiful woman, blending into society with a grace that hides her true nature. But as night falls and the moon climbs high, this woman transforms into a grotesque, nightmarish creature. Her upper body detaches from her lower half, and she becomes a winged vampire, soaring through the darkness with a heart full of malice. The split is seamless, a horrifying display of her otherworldly abilities. As she flies, she searches for victims, her hunger driven by a need to feed on blood and flesh, especially that of pregnant women. One tale tells of a young woman, newly married and living in a quiet village, who became the prey of a Manananggal. As the story goes, she noticed the first signs of trouble when she experienced sudden, inexplicable fatigue and found her dreams plagued by terrifying visions of a creature with sharp teeth and burning eyes. Her husband, dismissing these as mere nightmares, tried to comfort her, but the fear remained. One fateful night, the woman awoke to find her house eerily silent, with no sign of her husband. The walls of her home were coated with a strange, dark substance, and the air was heavy with a foul smell. She followed the trail, heart racing, only to find her husband, motionless and pale, lying in a pool of his own blood. The horror was not just the sight of her husband's lifeless body, but the realization that the Manananggal had claimed another victim, leaving a trail of fears that would haunt her for the rest of her life. Another tale speaks of a village plagued by a Manananggal's attacks. The villagers, desperate to protect themselves, devised a plan to catch the creature in the act. They discovered that the Manananggal could be repelled by specific protective measures. They spread salt around their homes, a known deterrent in folklore, and hung garlic cloves at their doorways. They also placed small items, such as broken glass or rice, around their properties. The idea was that the Manananggal, upon encountering these obstacles, would be forced to count each grain or piece of glass before proceeding, buying the villagers time to prepare and defend themselves. The fear of the Manananggal has led to various traditions and practices aimed at protecting against it. One such practice involves placing a small piece of iron or sharp object under the bed or across the doorway. This is believed to ward off the Manananggal, whose shape-shifting abilities are said to make it vulnerable to such items. Additionally, in some regions, people would carry a small charm or amulet imbued with protective prayers or symbols, a personal safeguard against the creature's sinister intentions. The Manananggal is more than a mere monster. It is a symbol of primal fears, a creature that embodies the dark side of human imagination. Its story is passed down through generations, a chilling reminder of the vulnerability that lies beneath our everyday lives. It haunts not just the quiet, rural villages where it is most often feared, but also the deeper recesses of our minds, where it stirs a visceral, gut-wrenching terror that lingers long after the sun has risen. The legends surrounding the Manananggal are not just stories of fear, but also of resilience and community spirit. The protective measures and traditions born from these tales speak to a collective effort to confront and overcome the darkness that threatens to invade their lives. Through salt, garlic, and sharp objects, the people have found ways to fight back, to reclaim their peace from the shadows that lurk just beyond the edge of their sight. As the moon casts its pale light and the night settles in, the Manananggal's legend serves as a chilling reminder of the darkness that exists beyond the safety of daylight. Its tales evoke a deep, shivering fear, but also a profound sense of how communities and individuals face their deepest nightmares with courage and ingenuity. The terror of the Manananggal is not just in its terrifying form, but in the way it forces us to confront our fears and protect what we hold dear. The cries of a baby piercing through the night can be one of the most heart-wrenching sounds a parent can hear. But imagine if that innocent wail came from a place of pure malice, a sound that masks a terrifying truth. This is the chilling reality of the Tiyanak, a creature of Philippine folklore that preys on the vulnerable with a heart full of darkness. The Tiyanak begins its malevolent existence in a guise that is both innocent and deceptive. It takes the form of a crying infant, drawing in those who are compelled by the need to comfort a child in distress. The cry is heart-wrenching, designed to tug at the deepest of human instincts. When a passerby hears this desperate cry, they are often moved to investigate, hoping to find and help the lost child. But what awaits them is not the innocent face of a baby, but a nightmare that springs to life. In one tale, a family living in a remote village heard the sound of a baby crying late one night. The cries were so real and so sorrowful that the mother, filled with compassion, ventured out to find the source of the sound. She followed the wails through the dark woods, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and concern. The cries grew louder, leading her to a small clearing where she saw what appeared to be a tiny baby lying on a blanket. As she reached out to pick up the child, the creature's form shifted grotesquely. The innocent baby's face twisted into a horrifying visage with sharp teeth and burning eyes. The Tiyanak let out a screech that echoed through the night, and the mother ran in terror, her heart racing. The experience left her shaken and forever wary of the night's cries. Another story tells of a man who was traveling home late at night and heard the cries of a baby from the bushes by the roadside. Moved by the sound and thinking of his own children, he stopped to investigate. The baby's cries were so convincing that he almost reached out to help. But as he drew closer, the sound grew more distorted, and the air became colder. The moment he saw the creature, he realized it was not a child but a malevolent entity that fed on the fear and confusion it created. The Tiyanak revealed its true form, and the man fled, haunted by the experience and forever changed by the horror he witnessed. The origins of the Tiyanak are shrouded in dark folklore. Some say that it is the restless spirit of an unborn child, a soul trapped between worlds, unable to find peace. Others believe it to be a vengeful spirit, taking on the form of a baby to lure victims into its grasp. The creature's appearance can vary, but its nature remains consistently evil. It is said to possess supernatural strength and a malevolent will, capable of causing harm and spreading fear. The Tiyanak's dark nature is a reflection of the fears and anxieties that grip people when faced with the unknown. It embodies the terror of the deceivingly innocent, the fear that what seems harmless can hide a great danger. Its cries are not just a call for help but a trap, a way to lure the compassionate into a situation of horror. Protection against the Tiyanak involves both physical and spiritual measures. In some traditions, people carry charms or amulets blessed by a priest to ward off evil spirits. Others use garlic and salt, known for their protective qualities in folklore, to create a barrier against the creature. The belief is that these items disrupt the Tiyanak's dark magic and keep it at bay. The Tiyanak stories are more than just tales of horror. They are cautionary narratives that remind us of the dangers that can lurk behind the most innocent appearances. The creature's ability to mimic the cries of a baby plays on our deepest fears and instincts, making it a powerful symbol of the deceptive nature of evil. Its dark origins and terrifying nature serve as a reminder of the unseen forces that may lie in wait, masked by a guise of innocence. The sea has always been a source of both wonder and terror, its depths holding mysteries beyond human understanding. Among the most enchanting yet dangerous beings that emerge from these depths is the Serena, a captivating mermaid of Philippine folklore whose beauty masks a perilous nature. Underneath the moon's silvery light, the Serena appears as an alluring figure, her long, flowing hair and shimmering tail a mesmerizing sight against the backdrop of the dark sea. Her song, haunting and melodious, floats across the waves, a siren call that beckons sailors and fishermen closer. To hear it is to feel both an irresistible pull and an unspoken warning. The melody carries with it a promise of untold beauty and the allure of forbidden dreams, but it is also a prelude to danger, a call that many have learned too late to be wary of. One story tells of a young fisherman who, on a quiet evening, heard the Serena's enchanting song drifting over the water. The sound was so beautiful that he could not resist following it. The melody led him to the edge of a rocky cliff, where he saw her for the first time. She was as stunning as any vision he had ever dreamed of, her eyes deep and knowing, her smile both inviting and sorrowful. As he drew nearer, he felt an overwhelming urge to reach out to her. But as he approached the water's edge, the sea grew tumultuous, and the Serena's face twisted into something unrecognizable. Her song turned into a cruel laughter that echoed through the night. In a moment of sheer panic, the fisherman scrambled back, barely escaping the pull of the sea. His heart was forever scarred by the beauty that nearly led him to his doom. In another tale, a village by the coast lived in fear of the Serena's song. The villagers spoke of her ability to control the tides and summon storms with her voice. One fateful night, a brave fisherman, determined to uncover the truth, ventured out alone despite the warnings. The Serena's song led him through fog and darkness, a haunting melody guiding him deeper into the perilous waters. Just as he reached her, the sea surged violently, and the Serena revealed her true form, a creature with a twisted, malicious grin. The fisherman, caught in the grip of terror, managed to escape, but he was left with a deep respect for the power of the Serena and the dangerous allure of her song. The Serena is more than just a beautiful myth. She embodies the duality of the sea itself, its enchanting beauty and its ruthless unpredictability. The sea is a place of wonder and mystery, and the Serena's lore reflects the respect and fear that the sea commands. She represents both the attraction of the unknown and the danger that lies in being lured too close. Her stories serve as cautionary tales, warning of the seductive power of danger and the peril of losing oneself to the allure of the forbidden. Protection against the Serena's charms involves a mix of traditional beliefs and practical measures. Fishermen and sailors often carry charms or talismans believed to protect them from her enchantments. In some traditions, it is advised to avoid responding to the Serena's song and to never approach the water if the melody is heard. Offering a small token or prayer to sea spirits for protection is also a common practice among those who fear her influence. The Serena's lore captures the imagination and warns of the dangers that lie beneath the surface of beauty. Her stories weave a tapestry of enchantment and peril, illustrating the delicate balance between allure and danger. Her presence in folklore serves as a powerful reminder of the mysteries of the sea and the respect that must be given to the forces of nature. In the heart of the dense Philippine forests, where sunlight barely filters through the thick canopy and shadows play tricks on the eyes, there exists a world that most will never truly see. This is the realm of the Encanto, the nature spirits whose presence is felt more than it is seen, and whose encounters leave lasting marks on the souls brave enough to cross their paths. One evening, a young woman named Maria ventured into the forest to gather herbs for her ailing mother. She had heard stories of the Encanto but dismissed them as mere folklore. As she walked deeper into the woods, the air grew cooler and a strange, unsettling quiet enveloped her. The usual sounds of the forest, the chirping of birds, the rustling of leaves, seemed to disappear. It was as if the forest itself was holding its breath. Suddenly, she stumbled upon a clearing bathed in an ethereal light, as if the sun was shining just for her. In the center of the clearing stood a magnificent tree, its branches heavy with luminous fruit. Mesmerized by the beauty, Maria reached out to pick a fruit, her fingers just brushing its surface when a soft voice whispered from behind her. Startled, she turned to see a figure emerging from the shadows. The figure was tall, with eyes that shimmered like the leaves in sunlight and a smile that held an unsettling charm. The Encanto spoke gently, but his words were filled with a warning. He told Maria that the forest was sacred and that the fruits of the tree were not meant for mortals. His voice was soothing yet filled with an ancient power, and as he spoke, Maria felt a chill run down her spine. The forest seemed to close in around her, and she realized that she had ventured far beyond her understanding. Without warning, the Encanto's demeanor shifted. His eyes darkened, and the once beautiful clearing turned menacing. The gentle whispers of the forest became a cacophony of eerie sounds. Maria's heart raced as she felt a cold hand on her shoulder, pulling her back from the tree. With a sudden burst of courage, she broke free and ran, her breath coming in ragged gasps as she fled the forest. Another story tells of a group of friends who set out to camp in the forest, eager for adventure and thrill. Unbeknownst to them, they had set up their camp near a sacred grove known to be watched over by the Encanto. As night fell, the group heard soft, haunting melodies drifting through the trees. Curious and a bit unnerved, they followed the sound, which led them to a moonlit glade where they saw figures dancing in the shadows. The figures were beautiful but seemed to shimmer and shift in and out of focus, like mirages. The friends were entranced, drawn to the dance that seemed to beckon them closer. Just as they were about to step into the glade, the figures stopped and turned towards them, their faces hidden in darkness but their eyes glowing with an unearthly light. The friends felt an icy grip of fear as the forest around them seemed to come alive with whispers and unseen eyes watching them. They fled back to their camp, the enchanting music turning into haunting laughter that echoed through the trees. Encounters with the Encanto are more than mere stories, they are powerful reminders of the reverence and respect that nature demands. The Encanto are not malevolent by nature but are bound by ancient rules that govern their domain. Their presence is a reminder of the sacredness of the natural world and the thin line that separates human beings from the mysteries of the forest. In Filipino folklore, it is believed that showing respect for nature is crucial in avoiding the wrath of these spirits. Offerings and rituals are often performed to appease the Encanto and seek their favor. It is said that simple gestures, such as asking permission before entering sacred spaces or leaving small offerings like food or coins, can protect one from the spirit's displeasure. The tales of the Encanto reflect a deep connection between people and the natural world, illustrating the respect and awe that forests and nature command. The encounters with these spirits serve as a powerful reminder of the unseen forces that guard and govern the natural world, and the importance of living in harmony with the mysteries that lie beyond our understanding. In the quiet stillness of the Philippine countryside, where the air is thick with the scent of tropical blooms and the rustling of leaves is a constant murmur, there are whispers of the Dewata, nature spirits whose presence evokes a mix of awe and trepidation. These beings, both benevolent and malevolent, are deeply woven into the fabric of local beliefs and legends. Their stories capture the essence of a world where the sacred and the supernatural coexist in delicate balance. One tale speaks of a remote village surrounded by lush forests and fertile fields, blessed by a Dewata known for her kindness and wisdom. Her name was Mabini, and she was revered as the guardian of the village's prosperity. Each year, during the harvest festival, the villagers would gather in the forest clearing where Mabini was believed to dwell. They would offer fruits and flowers, singing songs of gratitude and respect, hoping to receive her blessing for a bountiful harvest. One year, a severe drought threatened the village's crops. Desperate and fearful, the villagers decided to seek Mabini's aid more directly. With great reverence, they ventured into the heart of the forest, carrying their most precious offerings. As they reached the sacred grove, they saw Mabini standing among the trees, her presence radiating a serene and gentle light. Mabini listened to their pleas with compassion, and with a wave of her hand, she touched the parched earth. Miraculously, the clouds began to gather, and rain fell softly, soaking the land and rejuvenating the crops. The villagers returned home, their hearts filled with joy and gratitude. They continued to honor Mabini, knowing that her kindness had saved them from disaster. In contrast, the tales of malevolent Dewata tell of a spirit named Mangarul, who was feared by all who lived near his domain. Mangarul was known for his dark temperament and his vengeful nature. Unlike Mabini, who brought life and abundance, Mangarul was associated with misfortune and suffering. His home was said to be a twisted, gnarled tree deep in the forest, its branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. Legend has it that Mangarul would curse those who dared to venture too close to his lair. One such story involves a group of young men who, driven by curiosity and bravado, ventured into Mangarul's territory to prove their bravery. They laughed and joked as they approached the sinister tree, mocking the old stories they had heard. But their laughter quickly turned to fear when the forest seemed to close in around them, the shadows growing darker and more oppressive. As they neared the twisted tree, they felt an icy chill that froze them in place. The air was filled with a haunting wail, and the tree itself seemed to groan with anger. The young men, now terrified, stumbled back through the forest, only to find their way blocked by twisted roots and shifting paths. They had to find their way out, guided only by the fading light of the setting sun. When they finally emerged from the forest, they were changed. They spoke of the terror they had felt and the chilling sense of being watched and judged. They had learned the hard way that Mangarul's malevolence was not to be trifled with, and they returned to their village with a newfound respect for the power of the Dewata. These stories of the Dewata reflect a deep understanding of the natural world and the forces that govern it. The benevolent spirits, like Mabini, embody the harmony and nurturing aspects of nature. They are seen as protectors and guides, their presence a reminder of the beauty and abundance that nature can offer when respected and revered. On the other hand, the malevolent Dewata, such as Mangarul, symbolize the dangers and consequences of disrespecting the natural world. Their stories serve as warnings, urging people to honor and maintain the delicate balance between human activity and nature's power. The Dewata are not merely mythical beings, but represent the profound connection between people and their environment. They remind us that nature is both a source of life and a force to be reckoned with. Their stories, whether of kindness or malevolence, teach valuable lessons about respect, gratitude, and the consequences of crossing boundaries. On a dark and rainy night in Manila, when the city lights cast long shadows and the streets are slick with rain, there's a road that sends shivers down the spine of anyone who drives down it. Balete Drive is infamous for its ghostly tale of the White Lady, a story that haunts the dreams of many and stirs whispers of fear among locals. Her story is not just a legend, it is a chilling reminder of the unknown that lies just beyond our understanding. The White Lady of Balete Drive is often described as a beautiful woman dressed in white, her long hair cascading down her back, her face obscured by a veil of sadness and despair. The most common version of her story tells of a young woman who, years ago, was tragically involved in a car accident on this very road. Her spirit, now bound to the site of her death, is said to wander the streets, searching for something or someone she cannot remember. One of the most spine-chilling tales recounts an incident involving a family driving home from a late-night outing. As they traveled down Balete Drive, the rain pattered against their windows, the windshield wipers moving back and forth. The father, navigating the slippery road, was suddenly startled by a figure that appeared out of nowhere, a woman in white, standing by the side of the road, her face hidden by the dark veil of night. The car skidded as he slammed on the brakes, but by the time he looked again, the figure was gone. The family, shaken but unharmed, continued their journey, their hearts racing and their minds replaying the image of the ghostly woman. Another version of the tale involves a lone driver who encountered the White Lady while driving alone late at night. As he passed the old, abandoned houses along Balete Drive, he saw a figure on the road ahead. He slowed down, thinking it might be someone in need of help. But as he approached, the figure revealed itself to be a woman in a white dress. Her eyes were hollow, her expression one of profound sadness. He tried to speak to her, but she vanished before his eyes, leaving him with an overwhelming sense of dread and a car full of cold sweat. The variations of the White Lady's story often share similar themes: a tragic past, an eerie appearance, and a haunting presence that unsettles anyone who encounters her. Some say she was a victim of a failed romance, left to wander the streets in grief. Others believe she was murdered and now seeks revenge or justice. Each retelling adds a layer of mystery, making the legend all the more compelling and frightening. In one particularly harrowing tale, a group of friends decided to test the legend for themselves. Armed with cameras and their nerves, they drove down Balete Drive on a stormy night, hoping to capture evidence of the White Lady's presence. As they recorded, the atmosphere grew tense. The rain poured harder, and the wind howled, making the night seem even darker and more oppressive. They noticed the temperature inside the car dropping and felt an icy chill enveloping them. Suddenly, the camera captured a fleeting image of a white figure standing by the side of the road. It was gone as quickly as it appeared, but the fear and disbelief it left behind were palpable. These stories of the White Lady of Balete Drive are more than just ghostly legends. They are a part of the city's folklore, passed down through generations. They evoke a sense of eerie nostalgia, reminding people of the thin veil that separates the living from the dead. The tales keep the spirit of the White Lady alive, making Balete Drive a place of both intrigue and fear. Each encounter with the White Lady seems to carry a unique blend of terror and sorrow, capturing the essence of a restless spirit seeking something beyond this world. The fear that comes from these stories is not just about a ghostly apparition, but about the unexplainable and the feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. Balete Drive remains a place where the living can almost feel the touch of the supernatural, where every shadow could hold the essence of a lingering spirit. As the rain continues to fall and the streets of Manila remain dimly lit by flickering street lamps, the legend of the White Lady endures. Her story is told and retold, each telling adding to the haunting aura of Balete Drive. The chilling encounters and the eerie tales ensure that the White Lady's legacy remains a powerful and unsettling part of local lore. As night falls and darkness engulfs the landscape, a ghostly glow sometimes appears in the distance, flickering and dancing like a spectral fire. This eerie phenomenon, known as the St. Elmo, or St. Elmo's fire, is a sight that has both fascinated and terrified those who have encountered it. It is a legend wrapped in mystery, a fiery apparition that lights up the night with its strange, otherworldly presence. The St. Elmo is often described as a ball of fire or a glowing light that floats in the air. It can appear as a single ball of fire or a cluster of sparks, darting and weaving through the night sky. The stories of the St. Elmo are not just tales of supernatural phenomena, but also deeply rooted in the fears and imaginations of those who have witnessed its haunting display. One of the most compelling stories involves a group of fishermen lost at sea during a violent storm. The waves crashed violently against their small boat, and the howling wind threatened to capsize them. As hope dwindled and the crew feared the worst, a strange light appeared on the horizon. It was a flickering flame, moving erratically across the stormy sky. The sailors, desperate for any sign of hope, were mesmerized by this fiery beacon. As they followed the light, it led them to safety, guiding them back to shore. For the fishermen, the St. Elmo was not just a supernatural phenomenon but a divine sign that guided them through the perilous night. In another chilling tale, a group of friends set out on a camping trip in the remote mountains. They gathered around the campfire, sharing stories and enjoying the night sky. Suddenly, a strange light appeared above the trees, hovering and swaying as if it were alive. The friends were initially intrigued, thinking it was a strange meteorological occurrence. But as the light drew closer, its eerie glow cast unsettling shadows and made the night seem even darker. The friends could feel a coldness creeping into their bones as the Santelmo's light danced around them. The experience left them shaken, and they left the mountains the next day with a newfound respect for the unknown. The legends surrounding the Sant Elmo often describe it as a harbinger of danger or a sign of impending doom. In some stories, the appearance of the Sant Elmo precedes natural disasters or accidents, adding an ominous tone to its already unsettling presence. There are accounts of people seeing the Sant Elmo just before earthquakes, typhoons, or other calamitous events. This connection between the Sant Elmo and misfortune has made it a symbol of both fear and forewarning in local folklore. The origins of the Sant Elmo are as mysterious as the light itself. Some say it is the restless spirit of a departed soul, while others believe it is a manifestation of nature's fury. The scientific explanation, known as St. Elmo's fire, describes it as a weather phenomenon where a bright blue or violet glow appears during thunderstorms. It is caused by the ionization of air around sharp points, like the mast of a ship or the tips of buildings. This explanation, however, does little to ease the fear that accompanies sightings of the Sant Elmo. To many, the fiery apparition remains a symbol of the supernatural, an omen that defies rational understanding. The Sant Elmo also holds a place in the stories of the old, where it is said to be the ghostly flame of a wronged spirit. In one tale, a man who was unjustly accused and executed is said to appear as a ball of fire, seeking to right the wrongs done to him. This story adds a layer of tragedy to the Sant Elmo, transforming it from a mere phenomenon into a spectral entity with a poignant backstory. Witnesses of the Sant Elmo often describe a profound sense of unease, a feeling that something is watching them or that they are being led towards something unknown. The light's erratic movements and its ghostly appearance create an atmosphere of uncertainty and fear. It is not just the sight of the Sant Elmo, but the sense of dread that accompanies it that makes it such a compelling and frightening legend. As the Sant Elmo dances across the night sky, its glow a reminder of the mysteries that lie just beyond the reach of understanding, it continues to captivate and unsettle those who encounter it. The tales of the Sant Elmo are not just stories of fire and light, but reflections of the fears and wonders that live in the dark corners of our minds. Its haunting beauty and enigmatic presence ensure that it remains a powerful symbol of the supernatural, a fiery specter that lights up the night with its eerie glow. In the shadows of night, where the darkness seems to whisper secrets, a figure emerges that sends shivers down the spine of anyone who encounters her. Known as the Black Lady, this vengeful spirit haunts the urban legends of the Philippines with a chilling presence that is both haunting and tragic. The Black Lady is often described as a spectral figure cloaked entirely in black, her face hidden beneath a veil of darkness. Her presence is felt before it is seen, an eerie chill in the air, a sense of foreboding that wraps around you like a cold embrace. She is said to appear in places of tragedy and sorrow, where her spirit lingers, seeking retribution for wrongs she suffered in life. One story that captures the heart of this legend is that of a young woman who met a tragic end. She was betrothed to a man she loved deeply, but her happiness was shattered when he was unfaithful. The betrayal drove her to despair, and in a fit of sorrow, she took her own life. Her spirit, tormented by the betrayal and her untimely death, became the Black Lady, roaming the earth in search of those who had wronged her and anyone who might hear her anguished wails. In the dead of night, a common tale tells of a driver who picks up a mysterious woman dressed in black. She asks to be taken to a remote location, only to vanish from the car without a trace when they arrive. The driver, bewildered and terrified, often reports a sudden drop in temperature and an overwhelming sense of grief that lingers long after she is gone. These stories are more than just chilling encounters, they speak of a soul in torment, seeking solace or perhaps revenge for the pain she endured. Another haunting account comes from a family who moved into a new house, only to find it plagued by unexplained phenomena. Objects would move on their own, and the air would grow icy. It was during one particularly stormy night that they saw her, an outline of a woman in black, standing silently in the hallway. Her presence was marked by a deep, mournful silence that spoke volumes of the sorrow she carried. The family, gripped by fear, soon discovered that their home was built on the site of an old, forgotten tragedy, a place where the Black Lady's spirit was said to be restless. The Black Lady is often linked to tales of broken promises and unfulfilled love. Her story resonates with those who have suffered betrayal or loss, her sorrow reflecting the pain of those who have been wronged. She becomes a symbol of the consequences of dishonor and deceit, her spirit forever wandering in the quest for justice or peace. The fear she instills is not just from her ghostly appearance, but from the deep, emotional turmoil that drives her presence. Urban legends paint her as both a warning and a reminder of the consequences of betrayal. Some say that her spirit is drawn to those who have wronged others, as if she can sense the guilt and pain in their hearts. Encounters with the Black Lady are often accompanied by feelings of remorse and a haunting reflection on one's actions. Her legend serves as a dark mirror to the moral choices we make, a spectral reminder of the price of dishonesty and betrayal. Witnesses of the Black Lady often describe a profound sense of unease and dread, a heavy feeling that something terrible is about to happen. The air grows cold, and the night seems to close in, making every sound more pronounced and every shadow more menacing. Her appearances are marked by a sudden and eerie quiet, as if the world itself holds its breath in the presence of her mournful spirit. Stories of the Black Lady are not confined to just one place, but are scattered across urban areas and rural landscapes alike. From abandoned buildings to secluded roads, her spirit is said to wander where sorrow and betrayal have left their mark. Her tale is woven into the fabric of local folklore, a chilling narrative that speaks of the darker side of human nature and the consequences of unfulfilled promises. As the legend of the Black Lady continues to captivate and terrify, it remains a poignant reminder of the impact of our actions on the lives of others. Her story is more than just a ghost tale, it is a reflection of the emotional scars we leave behind and the restless spirits that may linger, seeking justice or redemption for their suffering. In the dead of night, when the darkness seems to whisper and shadows stretch long, the Black Lady's legend lives on, a haunting presence that reminds us of the weight of our choices and the haunting consequences of betrayal. In the stillness of night, when the veil between worlds seems thin, the ancient concept of the kaluluwa, the soul, takes on a haunting significance. The Filipino belief in the kaluluwa offers a window into how people have long understood life, death, and the journey of the soul. This profound concept shapes how people view their existence and the afterlife, infusing everyday life with deep meaning and emotion. The kaluluwa is not just an abstract idea but a living, breathing part of each person, believed to be their very essence. When someone passes away, their kaluluwa embarks on a journey through the afterlife, guided by ancient traditions and spiritual beliefs. This journey is not just a transition but a quest for peace, redemption, or even retribution, depending on the life they led and the actions they took. Stories about the kaluluwa are as diverse as the cultures that hold them dear. In some tales, the soul's journey is marked by trials and tests. If a person lived a life filled with good deeds and honor, their kaluluwa is believed to ascend to a peaceful and beautiful realm, where they find eternal rest and happiness. However, those whose lives were marked by wrongdoing or deceit may face a more troubling journey. Their kaluluwa may wander through dark and unsettling places, seeking to atone for past mistakes or find peace before moving on. In Filipino folklore, there is a vivid picture of the soul's journey after death. The kaluluwa often encounters various spirits and deities that play a role in guiding or judging its passage. These encounters are not merely supernatural experiences, but reflections of the soul's inner state and the moral choices made during life. For instance, some stories speak of souls being tested by spirits who ask them to relive their past actions, highlighting how their deeds have affected others. The journey of the kaluluwa is also marked by rituals and traditions meant to ease the passage and honor the deceased. Families perform ceremonies and offer prayers to guide the soul to its rightful place and ensure it finds peace. These rituals are not just acts of respect, but deeply emotional practices that reflect the love and concern of those left behind. They serve as a way to bridge the gap between the living and the dead, to show that the kaluluwa is remembered and cared for even after it has left the physical world. There are stories of restless souls whose kaluluwa remain stuck between worlds, unable to find peace. These are often the souls of those who died suddenly or under tragic circumstances. Their stories are filled with sorrow and regret, and their presence is felt by those who are sensitive to the spiritual realm. These restless spirits may appear in dreams or manifest in subtle ways, seeking help or closure from those still living. Beliefs about the kaluluwa also touch on the concept of reincarnation. Some traditions hold that the soul is reborn into a new life, carrying with it the lessons and experiences of previous lives. This cycle continues until the soul has learned and grown enough to reach a state of enlightenment or spiritual fulfillment. The notion of reincarnation offers a sense of continuity and hope, suggesting that every life is part of a larger journey towards spiritual growth. The stories surrounding the kaluluwa are not just ghostly tales, but deeply emotional reflections on life and the afterlife. They speak of the universal longing for meaning and connection, the hope for redemption, and the fear of being forgotten. The journey of the kaluluwa is a poignant reminder of the impact of our actions on others and the lasting effects of our deeds, both in life and beyond. As the kaluluwa makes its way through the afterlife, it encounters a range of experiences and entities that shape its path. From benevolent guides to formidable judges, the journey of the soul is marked by a series of encounters that reflect the choices and actions of the deceased. These experiences are not just supernatural occurrences, but deeply symbolic of the soul's quest for peace and understanding. In the quiet moments of reflection, the concept of the kaluluwa offers a powerful lens through which to view life and death. It serves as a reminder of the enduring nature of the soul and the profound impact of our lives on the world around us. The journey of the kaluluwa is a testament to the human spirit's resilience and the hope for a meaningful and fulfilling existence beyond the physical realm. At twilight, when the last golden rays of sun dip beneath the horizon, there is a whisper of the timeless land where the righteous find their eternal rest, the land of the ancestors, known as Maka. This sacred place is the ultimate destination for those who live their lives with honor, integrity, and love. It's a realm of profound beauty and serenity, where the soul's journey concludes in a state of peace and fulfillment. In the heart of Maka, there is a gentle sense of belonging that wraps around every spirit like a warm embrace. Here, the souls of the virtuous rest not in solitude but in the company of their forebears. They are greeted by ancestors whose faces they might recognize from old stories and family lore. The air is filled with a sense of reunion and homecoming, where every embrace is a reminder of a life well lived and the bonds that transcend the physical world. The land itself is a mosaic of lush fields, rolling hills, and tranquil waters, bathed in a soft, eternal light. The beauty of Maka is not just in its landscape, but in the feeling it imparts, a sense of peace that soothes every part of the soul. The colors are more vivid than any earthly palette, and the sounds are more harmonious, like a symphony of nature and spirit that plays endlessly. In Maka, there is no pain or sorrow. The souls who dwell here have shed their earthly struggles and now walk freely, unburdened by the concerns of the world they left behind. Their days are filled with joyous gatherings, where they share stories, celebrate life, and look after one another with the same love and care that marked their earthly existence. The journey to Maka is not one of trials, but of gentle acceptance. The righteous are guided to this land by spirits of light, who lead them through a passage of soft, radiant pathways. These guides are not just protectors, but also symbols of the virtues the soul embraced in life. As the righteous soul moves along these paths, they are met with scenes from their past, moments of kindness, acts of bravery, and expressions of love. These memories are not a source of regret but of celebration, reminding them of the impact they had on the world and the legacy they leave behind. In Maka, there is a celebration of life's simple joys and profound achievements. Gatherings are frequent and filled with laughter, music, and dance. These celebrations are not just for entertainment but are a testament to the joy of existence and the happiness that comes from living a life of purpose. The souls here engage in these festivities not just as participants, but as honored guests in a grand, eternal festival of unity and love. For those who arrive in Maka, there is a profound sense of purpose. They are not merely resting, but are actively engaged in the ongoing legacy of their lives. They contribute their wisdom to guiding the living, offering protection and blessings through dreams and subtle signs. Their presence continues to influence the world of the living, ensuring that their love and teachings endure beyond their earthly years. Maka is also a place of learning and reflection. Souls can revisit the moments of their lives with a new perspective, understanding the broader impact of their actions. This reflection is not harsh, but is done with compassion and insight. It allows the righteous to see how their choices shape their world and how their spirit continues to inspire those still on their journey. The serenity of Maka offers a stark contrast to the struggles of the earthly realm. Here, every soul experiences a profound peace that is both deeply personal and universally shared. It is a place where the righteous are reunited with their loved ones, where every moment is filled with the warmth of companionship and the joy of eternal rest. In Maka, there is an everlasting connection between the past and the present. The land is a bridge between the generations, where the lessons of the past are passed on to future souls. The righteous who dwell here do not merely rest in peace, but continue to be a part of the living world's spiritual tapestry. Their influence extends beyond their lives, guiding, protecting, and inspiring. As the twilight deepens, and the stars begin to shimmer in the skies of Maka, there is a sense of profound contentment. The righteous have found their way to a place where their journey is complete, their soul is at peace, and their legacy is celebrated. The land of the ancestors is not just a final resting place, but a testament to a life well lived, a sanctuary of eternal joy and unity. In the heart of darkness, where the light of the living world fades to nothingness, lies Casanan, the underworld. It is a place shrouded in shadows and sorrow, a realm where the suffering of lost souls echoes through the abyss. Here, the essence of despair intertwines with the ancient forces that govern this bleak domain. Casanan is not merely a location but an emotional landscape of torment and regret. It is a vast expanse where shadows twist and turn, creating a labyrinth of confusion and distress. The air is thick with an oppressive weight, making every breath a struggle. The ground is uneven, cracked, and barren, reflecting the inner anguish of its inhabitants. In the depths of Casanan, the souls of those who lived with cruelty or whose actions led to great harm wander in endless torment. They are enveloped in a dark mist that seems to seep into their very being, amplifying their remorse and grief. Each soul bears the weight of their misdeeds, unable to escape the memories of their actions. Their cries of anguish and sorrow are a constant soundtrack in this desolate place. Ruling over Casanan are figures of formidable power, the guardians of this sorrowful realm. Their presence is both commanding and fearsome. They are the embodiments of justice and vengeance, meting out the consequences of wrongdoing with unwavering resolve. These rulers are not just enforcers but also symbols of the moral balance that the universe maintains. They are stern, unyielding, and their gaze seems to pierce through the very essence of one's soul. The primary ruler of Casanan is a being known for its imposing presence and severe demeanor. It is said that this ruler can look into the heart of any soul and understand the full extent of their transgressions. With a stern hand, they ensure that every soul receives the suffering they have earned, their punishment tailored to the gravity of their sins. The ruler's voice is like thunder, echoing through the caverns of Casanan, a constant reminder of the justice that governs this realm. Amid the darkness, there are also creatures that inhabit Casanan, embodiments of fear and despair. These beings drift through the shadows, feeding off the anguish of the souls trapped here. They are neither alive nor dead, but exist in a state of perpetual torment, their forms shifting and undulating like dark waves. Their touch is said to be cold, leaving a lingering sense of dread that seeps into the very core of one's being. Despite the overwhelming sense of despair that fills Casanan, there are moments of eerie silence where the suffering seems to pause. In these fleeting moments, the souls reflect on their past, haunted by the choices that led them here. These reflections are not just about regret, but also about understanding the consequences of their actions, a painful but necessary journey in their quest for redemption. The landscape of Casanan is not static, it shifts and changes in response to the emotions of its inhabitants. The more intense the suffering, the more chaotic the environment becomes. This ever-changing landscape mirrors the turmoil within each soul, a constant reminder of the inner struggles that brought them to this place. In the silence of Casanan, the sorrow of its inhabitants is palpable. The cries of anguish mix with the distant, mournful wails of lost souls, creating a symphony of despair that reverberates through the realm. Each cry is a testament to the pain of realizing one's faults and the inescapable nature of their consequences. The rulers of Casanan oversee this realm with a heavy heart, their duty being to enforce the balance of justice. They are not driven by malice, but by a deep sense of responsibility to uphold the cosmic order. Their task is not just about punishment, but also about maintaining the equilibrium between good and evil, ensuring that each soul faces the repercussions of their actions. Casanan stands as a stark contrast to the realms of peace and tranquility. It is a place where every moment is a reminder of the choices that shape one's destiny. The suffering here is not fleeting but eternal, a constant reflection of the actions that led to this dark domain. For the souls within Casanan, there is no escape from their anguish, only the perpetual struggle to understand and accept the gravity of their transgressions. In the depths of Casanan, the suffering of lost souls and the stern justice of its rulers create a somber narrative of retribution and remorse. It is a realm where every shadow holds a story of regret, and every echo is a reminder of the balance that governs the universe. In the quiet corners of ancient villages, where the whispers of the past linger in the air, Encanto worship breathes life into a tradition that bridges the living with their ancestors. It's a practice wrapped in reverence, a way to honor those who came before, and to seek their guidance and blessings. This sacred ritual is a tapestry woven with heartfelt offerings, solemn practices, and the profound role of shamans. At the heart of Encanto worship lies the deep respect for ancestors, believed to watch over their descendants from the spirit world. The ancestors are not just memories, they are active, powerful presences whose favor and protection are sought through ritual and devotion. Families prepare sacred spaces in their homes, small altars adorned with the objects that hold the essence of their forebears. These altars are more than mere decorations, they are the focal points of connection between the earthly realm and the spirit world. Each offering placed on the altar is a gesture of love and respect. Simple yet meaningful, these offerings include fruits, grains, and cooked food, laid out with the hope that the spirits will accept them and bless the household in return. The act of preparing these offerings is done with care and sincerity, each item chosen to please the spirits and show gratitude. The food is often prepared as if for a special guest, underscoring the importance of honoring the ancestors with the best of what one has. As the sun sets and darkness falls, families gather to perform rituals, lighting incense and candles that pierce through the night's veil. The smoke of the incense spirals upwards, carrying prayers and wishes to the spirits above. The candles flicker with a soft, warm light, creating an atmosphere of reverence and connection. These rituals are a time of quiet reflection and solemn vows, where words spoken are full of hope, regret, and reverence. Shamans, the spiritual guides and mediators, hold a pivotal role in Encanto worship. They are the bridge between the living and the ancestors, gifted with the ability to communicate with the spirit world. Dressed in traditional attire, the shaman performs sacred rites, invoking the spirits with chants and songs that resonate through the still night. Their voices carry the weight of centuries of tradition, blending with the rhythm of drums and the soft murmur of prayers. The shaman's role is not just about performing rituals, but also about guiding the community in their spiritual journey. They interpret the signs from the ancestors, offering advice and comfort to those who seek it. Through trance and vision, the shaman receives messages from the spirit world, messages that are then shared with the people. These revelations are treated with utmost seriousness, as they are believed to hold the wisdom and warnings of the ancestors. The relationship between the living and their ancestors is deeply personal and profoundly moving. Each ritual and offering is a heartfelt attempt to bridge the gap between the past and the present. Families speak to their ancestors as if they are still part of their daily lives, sharing news, expressing concerns, and seeking guidance. This continuous dialogue reflects a belief that the ancestors are always present, listening and responding to the needs of their descendants. The importance of Encanto worship extends beyond the individual family. It is a cornerstone of communal identity and cohesion. Festivals and communal ceremonies bring people together to honor their shared heritage and to celebrate the presence of their ancestors. These gatherings are filled with music, dance, and collective prayers, creating a sense of unity and belonging. Through these communal rites, the memory of the ancestors is kept alive, and their legacy is passed on to future generations. In every aspect of Encanto worship, there is a profound sense of connection and continuity. The rituals are a way to keep the spirit of the ancestors alive, to ensure that their wisdom and presence remain a guiding force in the lives of their descendants. The offerings, the prayers, and the ceremonies are all acts of love and remembrance, honoring the past while forging a path for the future. As the rituals wind down and the candles burn low, a sense of peace settles over the participants. The act of honoring the ancestors brings comfort and a feeling of closeness to those who have passed. In these moments of quiet reflection, there is an understanding that the bond with the ancestors is eternal, a thread that ties together the past, present, and future. In the heart of ancient communities, where shadows and light dance together under the canopy of towering trees, the Benevolent stands as a beacon of hope and healing. These traditional healers, often revered as powerful shamans, hold a sacred place in the fabric of their cultures. Their healing rituals are not just acts of care but profound expressions of love and faith, connecting the physical world with the spiritual. When illness strikes, the Benevolent is sought out not merely for their knowledge of herbs and remedies but for their deep connection to the spiritual world. The process of healing begins with a ceremonial approach, a blend of ritual and respect that acknowledges the presence of unseen forces. The Benevolent's role extends beyond that of a healer. They are a guide between the human world and the spirit realm, channeling energies and invoking the spirits to restore balance. The ritual itself is a sacred dance, one that starts with the Benevolent preparing their space. This space is often adorned with symbols and objects of power, items that hold spiritual significance and are believed to draw in protective and healing energies. Incense burns, filling the air with a fragrant smoke that seems to lift the burdens of the world. This smoke, like a whisper to the gods, helps clear the area of negative influences and invites benevolent spirits to join the healing process. With the ritual set, the Benevolent begins their sacred chants and prayers. Their voice, a soothing blend of melody and reverence, calls upon ancestors and spirit guides. Each word is carefully chosen, each tone infused with intention. As they chant, the air vibrates with an energy that feels almost tangible, a sign of the spiritual realm coming closer to the physical. The Benevolent then engages in a series of traditional practices, each one designed to address different aspects of the affliction. They might use a bundle of herbs, known for their healing properties, to cleanse the affected area. The smoke from these herbs is believed to purify and drive away malevolent forces that may be causing harm. As the herbs burn, their scent mingles with the incense, creating a fragrant barrier against illness. In addition to herbs, the Benevolent might use ritual objects such as feathers, stones, or water. Each object has its own significance and is used with a specific intention. Feathers are often seen as carriers of prayers and messages, while stones might be used to ground and stabilize energies. Water, blessed with prayers, is used to cleanse and heal, its purity symbolizing the restoration of health and balance. One of the most powerful aspects of the Benevolent's work is their ability to perform soul retrieval. This practice is based on the belief that illness can be caused by a loss or fragmentation of the soul. Through trance and guided spiritual journeys, the Benevolent seeks to retrieve these lost pieces and restore them to their rightful place within the person. This process is deeply moving, both for the healer and the patient, as it represents a profound reconnection with the self and the spiritual world. As the healing ritual progresses, the Benevolent's focus shifts to the patient. They might perform a series of movements or gestures, often accompanied by chanting, aimed at channeling healing energies. The Benevolent's hands may hover over the patient or gently touch their body, sensing and adjusting the flow of energy. Each touch, each movement, is a careful act of compassion, designed to comfort and heal. The emotional impact of these rituals is immense. For those who seek the Benevolent's help, there is often a sense of vulnerability and hope. The Benevolent's presence, their dedication, and their spiritual expertise provide comfort and reassurance. Patients feel not just the physical effects of the healing, but also the profound emotional support that comes from knowing someone is deeply invested in their well-being. The Benevolent's work does not end with the ritual. Healing is seen as a continuous process, and the Babalan often provides guidance and advice for the patient's recovery. This might include dietary recommendations, lifestyle changes, or ongoing spiritual practices. The relationship between the healer and the patient is one of mutual respect and care, extending beyond the immediate ritual to a shared journey of healing and growth. In these sacred moments, where the physical and spiritual worlds intersect, there is a powerful sense of connection and continuity. The Babalan's rituals are more than just acts of healing, they are profound expressions of love, faith, and respect for the mysteries of life. They remind us of the deep, often unseen connections that bind us to our ancestors, our community, and the larger spiritual world. Through their work, the Babalan not only heals but also reaffirms the importance of spirituality in our lives. Their rituals are a testament to the belief that true healing involves the whole person, body, mind, and spirit. The Babalan's role, deeply rooted in tradition and faith, highlights the powerful interplay between the physical and spiritual realms, offering comfort and hope to those in need. In the heart of vibrant celebrations and colorful parades, ancient myths come alive, dancing through the streets with every beat of the drum and every twirl of a dancer's costume. Festivals rooted in mythology are more than just celebrations, they are a living tapestry of history, belief, and community spirit that bind the past to the present with threads of joy and reverence. As the sun sets and the night begins to shimmer, the air fills with the rhythms of drums and the scents of traditional foods. Each festival unfolds like a grand, mythical story, retelling ancient tales through the vivid hues of costumes and the spirited movements of dancers. The stories of gods and spirits, once whispered by the firelight, now burst into life in a dazzling display of light and sound. One such festival is marked by the vibrant celebration of a goddess who embodies the essence of beauty and fertility. Her myth is depicted in elaborate dances where performers, dressed in resplendent costumes, recreate her legendary acts. The rhythm of the drums mirrors the heartbeat of the earth, and the dancers' movements reflect the natural cycles of growth and renewal. The air hums with an electric energy as the community gathers to honor and celebrate the goddess, their voices blending in a chorus of ancient songs that echo through the night. In another corner of the celebration, lanterns float gently into the sky, each one representing a wish or prayer. The lanterns are adorned with symbols that recount tales of heroic deeds and divine interventions. As they rise, they carry with them the hopes and dreams of those below, creating a stunning visual spectacle against the dark sky. The sight of these glowing orbs drifting upwards is a poignant reminder of the connection between the mortal and the divine. A different festival, steeped in the myth of a legendary hero, brings together a community in a dramatic reenactment of his epic journey. The hero's trials and triumphs are portrayed with a mixture of solemnity and festivity. Spectators gather to watch as actors portray the hero's battles, victories, and the profound lessons he learned along the way. The performance is more than just entertainment, it is a powerful retelling of a story that has shaped the community's values and traditions. As the festival continues, the air is filled with the scent of traditional foods, each dish a homage to the myths and legends of old. The tables are laden with delicacies that have been passed down through generations, recipes that tell their own stories of survival and prosperity. Sharing these foods is a communal act that strengthens bonds and celebrates the abundance bestowed by the gods. Throughout these festivals, the role of the shamans and priests is paramount. Their presence is a bridge to the divine, ensuring that the rituals are performed with the utmost respect and authenticity. Their chants and prayers are woven into the fabric of the celebration, adding a sacred dimension to the festivities. As they lead the rituals, their voices rise and fall with the rhythm of the drums, guiding the community in a dance of devotion and gratitude. The emotional impact of these festivals is profound. For many, participating in these celebrations is a way of honoring their ancestors and connecting with the rich tapestry of their heritage. Each dance, each song, and each ritual is a testament to the enduring power of myth and tradition, offering a sense of continuity and belonging. As the festivals draw to a close, the community gathers for a final ceremony, a moment of reflection and thanksgiving. Lanterns, once bright in the night sky, now settle gently to the ground, their light fading as dawn approaches. The final prayers are offered, and the community comes together for one last feast, celebrating the success of the festival and the stories that were brought to life. In these moments, the festival's magic lingers, a reminder of the deep connection between the people and their myths. The celebrations are more than just annual events, they are vibrant expressions of a shared history and a living testament to the power of storytelling. Each festival, with its blend of myth, tradition, and community spirit, reaffirms the bond between the past and the present, ensuring that the ancient tales continue to inspire and uplift for generations to come. In the lush, green heart of the Tagalog region, ancient myths breathe life into the mountains, forests, and rivers. These stories, passed down through generations, carry a timeless magic that continues to shape the lives of the people. Every corner of this land is infused with legends and deities whose presence is felt deeply, weaving through the daily lives of the Tagalog people. One of the most poignant tales is that of Bathala, the supreme god who reigns over the universe. Bathala is not just a deity but a guiding force, embodying the essence of creation and protection. His name evokes a sense of profound respect and devotion, as he is believed to watch over the world with a gentle yet powerful hand. In the quiet moments of dawn and the stillness of night, the Tagalog people offer their prayers to Bathala, seeking his guidance and blessings. His presence is felt in the natural beauties surrounding them, a constant reminder of his watchful eye and nurturing spirit. In the shadows of ancient forests, the myth of Makiling unfolds. She is a mysterious and enchanting dewata, or fairy, known for her beauty and grace. According to legend, Makiling dwells in the mountain's lush greenery, emerging only at twilight. Her story is both captivating and melancholic. She is said to fall in love with mortals, but her love often ends in heartbreak, as the boundaries between her world and the human realm are too great to overcome. The locals speak of hearing her forlorn song in the wind, a haunting melody that tugs at the heartstrings and reminds them of the fragile line between love and loss. Another significant figure is the brave and fierce god, Apolaki. As the god of the sun and war, Apolaki is a symbol of strength and courage. He is depicted as a warrior, riding across the sky on his mighty chariot, bringing light and warmth to the land. His role in mythology is deeply tied to the valor of warriors, inspiring them with his courage and resolve. During times of conflict, the Tagalog people invoke Apolaki's name, hoping to channel his fierce spirit and gain his favor in battle. His story is a testament to the enduring power of bravery and the eternal struggle between light and darkness. The tale of the dewata of the mountains, Lacapa, also stands out. Known as the goddess of fertility and agriculture, Lacapa is deeply revered for her role in ensuring bountiful harvests and the prosperity of the land. The Tagalog people celebrate her through rituals and offerings, acknowledging her vital role in sustaining their way of life. Her presence is felt in the growth of crops and the abundance of nature, symbolizing the intricate connection between the land and its people. These myths are not just stories, but are interwoven with the daily lives of the Tagalog people. The legends of Bathala, Makiling, Apolaki, and Lacapa shape their understanding of the world and guide their actions. The deities are honored through festivals, rituals, and oral traditions, keeping their stories alive and relevant. Their influence extends beyond mere belief, impacting the way people live, celebrate, and connect with their environment. In every whispered tale, and every ritual performed, the myths of the Tagalog region pulse with a life of their own. They are more than historical curiosities, they are the living, breathing essence of a culture that cherishes its past while embracing the present. Each legend carries with it the echoes of a time long gone, yet the emotions and lessons they impart are as fresh and poignant as ever. As the sun sets over the Tagalog region, casting its golden light over the land, the myths continue to dance in the shadows. The stories of Bathala, Makiling, Apolaki, and Lacapa live on, carried by the wind and whispered through the trees. They are a constant reminder of the profound connection between the people and their mythology, a bridge between the ancient and the modern, where every myth tells a story and every story holds a piece of the heart. On the sun-drenched shores and lush hills of the Visayan Islands, ancient myths echo through the ages, painting a vivid tapestry of divine beings and timeless stories. These myths breathe life into the land, telling tales of gods and spirits that are as vibrant today as they were centuries ago. One of the most poignant legends from the Visayan region is the tale of Bakunawa, the serpent-like dragon known for its celestial battles. This mythical creature is said to be responsible for eclipses, a sign of his fierce struggle with the moon. According to the legend, Bakunawa, driven by an insatiable hunger, attempts to swallow the moon, causing the lunar light to vanish in moments of darkness. The Visayan people recount these stories with a blend of fear and reverence, remembering the celestial dance between darkness and light that Bakunawa represents. His myth is more than just a story, it embodies the primal struggle between creation and destruction, capturing the imagination of all who hear it. In the heart of the Visayas, the myth of Maria Cacao stands as a reminder of the profound connection between the natural and the supernatural. Maria Cacao, the goddess of cacao and the mountains, is revered as a powerful Dewata. She is often depicted riding a golden dragon and is believed to guard the sacred cacao trees that provide sustenance and wealth. The legend goes that she lives in a hidden cave, her presence marked by the rich aroma of cacao that drifts through the forest. Her story is a blend of wonder and reverence, reflecting the deep respect the Visayans have for nature and its bounty. The sight of a cacao tree in the region is not just a reminder of the goddess, but a symbol of her enduring influence over the land. Then there is the tale of the Dewata of the seas, known as the enchanting and elusive Majandara. She is said to dwell in the depths of the ocean, her beauty captivating all who gaze upon her. Majandara is a figure of both allure and danger. She has the power to lead sailors astray with her mesmerizing songs. Legends speak of sailors who, enchanted by her voice, would follow it only to find themselves lost or shipwrecked. Despite her perilous nature, Majandara's story reflects the duality of the sea, its ability to both nurture and destroy. Her myth serves as a warning and a tribute to the ocean's unpredictable and awe-inspiring power. In the shadowy forests of the Visayas, the story of the legendary Aswang reveals a more sinister aspect of the region's mythology. This creature is said to be a shapeshifter, often taking the form of a beautiful woman to lure unsuspecting victims. By night, the Aswang reveals its true form, a ghastly figure with a hunger for human flesh. The fear surrounding the Aswang is palpable, a reflection of the deep-seated anxieties that grip communities in the dark of night. This myth is passed down through hushed whispers and fearful glances, a reminder of the dangers that lurk unseen and the need for vigilance against the unknown. The Visayan myths are not only tales of gods and monsters, but also reflections of the people's values and fears. Each story carries with it a lesson or a warning, deeply intertwined with the cultural and spiritual fabric of the region. The gods and spirits of the Visayas are not distant figures, but intimate presences that influence the lives of the people in tangible ways. Whether it is the awe-inspiring battles of Bakunawa, the nurturing embrace of Maria Cacao, the bewitching allure of Majandara, or the fearsome presence of the Aswang, each myth speaks to the complexities of existence and the profound relationship between humanity and the supernatural. As the sun sets over the Visayan Islands, the myths continue to live and breathe through the stories told around fires and the songs sung in the quiet of the night. These legends, passed from one generation to the next, carry with them the weight of history and the light of imagination. They are more than just stories, they are the lifeblood of a culture that celebrates its past while looking forward to its future. The myths of the Visayan region are a testament to the enduring power of storytelling and the deep connection between people and their mythic heritage. In the heart of Mindanao, where the mountains meet the sea and ancient forests whisper timeless secrets, the rich mythology of the Moro and Lumad peoples comes alive. This land, steeped in both beauty and mystery, is home to myths that stir the soul and echo through the ages. One of the most striking legends from Mindanao is the tale of the Bathala, the supreme god of the Tagabili people. The Bathala, revered as the master of the universe, is said to dwell in a celestial palace high above the clouds. From this ethereal throne, he oversees the balance of all things, life, nature, and the cosmos. His power is immense, and his presence is felt in the thunderstorm's roar and the gentle caress of the wind. The Bathala story is a powerful reminder of the divine force that governs the world, a source of both awe and respect that keeps the people grounded in their faith and understanding of the universe. In contrast, the myth of the Mangaya, a warrior spirit of the Lumad, is a tale of bravery and sacrifice. The Mangaya is said to be a fierce protector of the land, a spirit who takes on human form to defend his people from malevolent forces. His courage in battle and his unwavering commitment to justice make him a revered figure among the Lumad. The stories of his valor are passed down through generations, a source of inspiration and strength for those who face their own struggles. The Mangaya's legend serves as a beacon of hope and a reminder of the power of courage and resilience in the face of adversity. Among the Moro, the legend of the Serena stands as a symbol of life and abundance. This mythical bird, often depicted with vibrant plumage and a regal bearing, is believed to bring prosperity and good fortune. The Serena is not just a creature of beauty but a spiritual guide, leading its followers to a bountiful harvest and a prosperous life. The tales of the Serena's flight across the skies and its role in ensuring the well-being of the people are woven into the cultural fabric of the Moro, embodying their deep connection to the land and its blessings. In the dense forests and misty hills of Mindanao, the story of the Datu, a legendary chieftain of the Lumad, resonates deeply. The Datu is said to possess extraordinary wisdom and power, guiding his people with a firm yet compassionate hand. His leadership is marked by a deep respect for the natural world and a commitment to justice and harmony. The Datu's legend is a testament to the values of leadership and community, offering a vision of a ruler who is both wise and benevolent. The Moro's myth of the Lanao, a formidable water spirit, adds another layer of depth to the region's mythology. The Lanao is believed to dwell in the vast lakes and rivers of Mindanao, its presence marked by sudden storms and mysterious whirlpools. This water spirit is both revered and feared, a reminder of the unpredictable nature of the waters that sustain life. The stories of the Lanao's power and its role in the life of the community highlight the delicate balance between respect and caution that governs the relationship between people and nature. Among the Lumad, the myth of the Sigbin, a nocturnal creature said to roam the forests under the cover of darkness, adds an air of mystery and intrigue. The Sigbin is described as a creature with the ability to suck the blood of its prey and cast a chilling aura of fear. Despite its terrifying reputation, the Sigbin story is also a reflection of the Lumad's deep connection to the natural world and the mysteries that lie within it. The tale of the Sigbin is a reminder of the dark and mysterious aspects of the world, a cautionary tale that balances the wonder and danger of the unknown. As the sun sets over the lush landscapes of Mindanao, the myths of the Moro and Lumad peoples continue to resonate, offering a glimpse into a world where the divine and the earthly intertwine. These stories, passed down through generations, carry with them the weight of history and the light of imagination. They are not merely tales of gods and spirits, but reflections of a deep-seated connection to the land, the cosmos, and the profound mysteries of existence. In every whisper of the wind, every rustle of the leaves, and every glimmer of the stars, the myths of Mindanao live on, weaving a tapestry of wonder, reverence, and the eternal dance between the known and the unknown. At the edge of the world, where the Cordillera Mountains rise like silent sentinels, the whispers of ancient legends drift through the misty peaks. Here, in the rugged and majestic highlands, stories of gods, spirits, and mythical creatures shape the lives of the people and the landscape itself. The tale of the legendary giant, Apolaki, is one of the most revered among the mountain tribes. Apolaki, known as the Old Man of the Mountain, is said to be a giant who once roamed the highlands, a guardian spirit of the land. His enormous footprints, which are believed to be scattered across the Cordilleras, are seen as sacred symbols of his presence. The story tells of Apolaki's immense strength and his role in creating the rugged terrain, using his mighty hands to shape the mountains and valleys. Villagers recount with awe how he would appear in times of need, his powerful voice echoing across the peaks, guiding lost travelers and protecting the people from harm. To this day, the people of the Cordillera revere Apolaki, believing that his spirit watches over them, ensuring their safety and prosperity. Another haunting legend that drifts through the highlands is the story of the Anit, the mountain spirits. These spirits are believed to inhabit the dense forests and secluded caves of the Cordillera region. According to local lore, the Anit are guardians of the natural world, possessing the power to both bless and curse those who enter their domain. The Anit are described as elusive, often appearing as fleeting shadows or gentle whispers in the wind. Elders tell of encounters with these spirits, where they have appeared to warn of impending danger or offer guidance in times of crisis. The respect for the Anit is deeply ingrained in the culture, with rituals and offerings made to honor them and seek their favor. Among the many myths of the Cordillera, the story of the Lumawig stands out as a symbol of creation and harmony. Lumawig, a revered deity, is said to have descended from the heavens to bring order and wisdom to the people. He taught the early inhabitants of the Cordilleras how to cultivate the land, build their homes, and live in harmony with nature. The legend tells of how Lumawig crafted the rice terraces, which are now marvels of engineering and culture. His teachings are cherished, and his legacy is celebrated through festivals and ceremonies that honor his contributions to their way of life. The rice terraces, still tended with care, are seen as a living tribute to Lumawig's gifts and a reminder of the enduring connection between the people and the land. The Cordillera region is also home to the eerie myth of the Wigan, a spectral figure said to haunt the high mountain trails. Described as a ghostly, shadowy being, the Wigan is believed to appear on foggy nights, especially around the time of the full moon. According to the legend, those who encounter the Wigan are doomed to suffer misfortune or illness. The chilling tales of the Wigan are recounted around campfires, with the hope of deterring travelers from wandering too far into the mountains after dark. These stories, while frightening, serve as a reminder of the power of the unknown and the need to respect the mysteries of the highlands. In the heart of the Cordilleras, the myth of the Kabunian, the supreme god, holds significant importance. Kabunian is believed to dwell atop the highest peaks, overseeing all creation with a watchful eye. The legend speaks of his immense power and wisdom, as well as his role in maintaining the balance of nature. He is seen as a father figure, offering guidance and protection to his people. The rituals and offerings made to Kabunian are elaborate, reflecting the deep respect and devotion the people have for him. These ceremonies are performed to ensure a good harvest, protect their homes, and seek blessings for their endeavors. As the sun sets and the mist settles over the Cordillera Mountains, the echoes of these legends resonate through the highlands. The stories of Apolaki, the Anit, Lumawig, the Wigan, and Kabunian are more than mere tales. They are a vital part of the cultural heritage of the mountain people. Each legend carries with it a sense of reverence, a connection to the land, and a reminder of the powerful forces that shape their world. In the quiet moments, when the wind rustles through the trees and the stars twinkle above, the myths of the Cordillera come alive, whispering their timeless stories to those who listen. These legends, deeply woven into the fabric of the land, continue to inspire awe and respect, ensuring that the spirit of the Cordillera Mountains remains ever present in the hearts of its people. The streets of Manila, bathed in the glow of street lamps, seem to whisper with ancient voices as if the past and present are forever intertwined. In the heart of Filipino literature, where stories and poems come to life, the shadows of old myths dance through the pages, breathing life into words and emotions that resonate deeply. Filipino literature is a tapestry rich with the vibrant threads of myth and legend. From the intricate weavings of pre-colonial epics to modern prose and poetry, the echoes of ancient tales shape the stories that continue to captivate readers today. The myths of the Philippines have left an indelible mark on literature, influencing not just the themes but the very essence of Filipino storytelling. Consider the epic of Bayag ni Lam-ang, a story that transcends time. This ancient epic, hailing from the Ilocano tradition, tells of a hero with extraordinary feats, blending myth with reality. The narrative of Lam-ang, who battles monstrous beings and defies the odds with superhuman strength, has inspired countless writers. In contemporary literature, Lam-ang's story resonates in themes of heroism and destiny, reflecting the enduring power of myth to shape the collective imagination. The influence of Philippine mythology is also palpable in poetry. The works of José Rizal, a national hero and poet, are infused with mythological references that underscore his themes of freedom and identity. Rizal's poetry often draws on the rich tapestry of Filipino folklore, weaving in figures like the Diwata and the Aswang to explore complex ideas about society and self. His use of myth serves not only as a nod to cultural heritage but also as a tool for profound reflection on the human condition. In the realm of contemporary literature, the shadows of mythical creatures and divine beings continue to loom large. Writers like F. Cian L. Jose and Nick Joaquin have drawn on Filipino myths to craft stories that bridge the ancient with the modern. Joaquin's work, for example, often incorporates elements of folklore to explore themes of power, morality, and the supernatural. His stories, rich with the presence of mythical figures, reveal how these age-old beliefs continue to resonate in the struggles and triumphs of modern life. The myths of the Philippines have also shaped the genre of speculative fiction. Authors who write in the fantasy genre draw heavily from folklore, creating worlds where ancient deities and mythical creatures walk alongside contemporary characters. This blending of myth and modernity allows readers to experience the timelessness of these stories in new and imaginative ways. The mythical landscapes, populated with gods, spirits, and legendary heroes, offer a canvas where writers paint stories that are both familiar and fantastical. One cannot ignore the profound impact of these myths on the themes of Filipino literature. The struggle between good and evil, the quest for identity, and the search for meaning are all motifs deeply rooted in mythology. The stories of gods and spirits are not just relics of the past, they are living, breathing forces that continue to inspire and provoke. They give voice to the hopes and fears of a people, reflecting their desires, struggles, and aspirations. In the realm of modern poetry, the legacy of myth can be seen in the works of contemporary poets who explore the intersections of myth and personal experience. Their poems often evoke the grandeur of ancient legends while delving into the intimate struggles of individual lives. This interplay between the mythical and the personal creates a powerful emotional resonance, allowing readers to connect with the ancient stories on a deeply personal level. As the sun sets and the city hums with life, the myths of the Philippines continue to inspire and shape the landscape of literature. The ancient gods and legendary heroes, the whispers of spirits and the echoes of epic tales, all find their place in the modern literary world. They remind us that the stories of old are not just relics of the past, but living, breathing parts of our cultural fabric. In every story told, and every poem written, the myths of the Philippines endure, casting their timeless shadow over the world of literature. They connect the past with the present, weaving a rich tapestry that celebrates the enduring power of myth to touch the heart and stir the soul. In the dimly lit room of an art gallery, a hush falls over the crowd as eyes fixate on a painting that seems to breathe with life. The strokes of the brush, each deliberate and passionate, capture the essence of ancient tales that have danced through Filipino mythology for centuries. Mythology, with its vibrant gods, powerful spirits, and heroic figures, is not confined to the dusty pages of old books. It leaps into the modern world through art and film, making ancient stories pulse with new energy and emotion. The visual arts have long been a canvas for mythology, transforming stories into vivid, emotional experiences. The rich tapestry of Filipino myths comes alive through the creative visions of artists who paint, sculpt, and draw these legendary figures. The paintings of the Diwata, the fairy-like spirits, shimmer with ethereal light, capturing their mystical beauty and their role as protectors of nature. The fierce, dynamic images of the Aswang and the Manananggal create a sense of dread and fascination, drawing viewers into a world where the boundary between the real and the supernatural blurs. These artistic representations are more than just visual spectacles, they evoke a powerful connection to the past. When a viewer looks at a depiction of a mythological scene, there is a moment of recognition and wonder, as if the painting is a portal to a time when these stories were alive and integral to everyday life. The emotion captured in these works, whether it's the haunting sadness of a tale or the exhilarating triumph of a hero, transports viewers to another time and place, making the myths feel immediate and real. Film, too, has become a powerful medium for bringing these ancient stories to life. Filipino cinema has embraced mythological themes, weaving them into narratives that resonate with contemporary audiences. From epic movies that recreate ancient battles and divine interventions to modern retellings that place mythical creatures in present-day settings, film breathes new life into old legends. Each frame, each scene, becomes a living, moving tribute to the mythology that has shaped Filipino culture. In the realm of cinema, the depiction of mythical creatures and legendary heroes is more than just visual. It is an emotional journey that pulls viewers into the heart of these stories. The tension and excitement of a battle with a monstrous being, the heartbreak of a tragic love story, and the awe-inspiring moments of divine encounters all become vivid experiences. The magic of film lies in its ability to make the viewer feel as if they are walking beside the heroes, facing the same perils and sharing the same joys. The influence of mythology in art and film extends beyond mere representation. It serves as a bridge between generations, connecting the past with the present. When a child watches a film about a legendary hero or sees a painting of a mythical creature, they are introduced to a world of stories that have been passed down through generations. These visual and cinematic experiences create a sense of continuity, linking the viewer to their cultural heritage and reminding them of the stories that have shaped their identity. Art and film also have the power to reinterpret mythology, offering fresh perspectives and new meanings. A modern artist might depict a traditional mythological scene through a contemporary lens, adding layers of modernity and relevance. A filmmaker might set an ancient legend in a modern context, exploring themes of identity, struggle, and redemption in new ways. This creative reinterpretation keeps the myths alive and relevant, ensuring that they continue to resonate with audiences in a rapidly changing world. The emotional impact of these artistic and cinematic portrayals is profound. When myths are depicted with passion and creativity, they evoke a deep sense of connection and nostalgia. The viewer experiences the thrill of ancient battles, the sorrow of tragic fates, and the wonder of divine intervention in a way that feels intensely personal. The power of visual and cinematic storytelling lies in its ability to make these ancient stories feel immediate and alive, creating a visceral connection to the past. As the credits roll on a film or as a viewer steps back from a painting, the echoes of mythology linger. The ancient tales, rendered in vibrant colors and dynamic movements, continue to stir the soul and ignite the imagination. Through art and film, the myths of the Philippines are not just remembered, they are reimagined, celebrated, and cherished. They become a living part of the cultural landscape, bridging the gap between ancient legends and contemporary life. In the heart of bustling cities and quiet rural towns, something extraordinary is happening. Across the Philippines, there is a stirring, a rekindling of ancient beliefs and traditions that had long been forgotten. It's as if the whispers of old gods and spirits have risen from the shadows, calling to a new generation eager to reconnect with its roots. This resurgence is not just a trend, it's a heartfelt rediscovery of identity and heritage. In the streets of Manila, traditional rituals that were once considered relics of the past are making a vibrant comeback. The air hums with the sounds of drums and chants as communities gather to celebrate ancient festivals with renewed fervor. These festivals, once on the brink of fading away, are now a vivid tapestry of color and emotion, weaving together the threads of old stories and modern life. The dances, the songs, and the rituals are a powerful reminder of a time when the sacred and the everyday were deeply intertwined. This revival is more than a celebration of the past. It represents a profound search for meaning in a rapidly changing world. For many, the old myths and beliefs offer a sense of belonging and continuity, a way to anchor themselves in a world that often feels fragmented and uncertain. The ancient stories of gods, spirits, and heroes provide a framework for understanding the world, offering wisdom and comfort in times of struggle. Young people, who might once have felt disconnected from their heritage, are now embracing these ancient traditions with a passionate curiosity. They are learning the old songs, participating in traditional ceremonies, and even incorporating mythological themes into modern art and literature. This new generation is not simply looking back, they are weaving the old with the new, creating a dynamic fusion that brings ancient wisdom into contemporary contexts. Communities are also rediscovering the traditional practices of healing and spirituality that had long been overshadowed by modern medicine and technology. The Babalan, the ancient shamans and healers, are finding a renewed place in the hearts of those seeking holistic remedies and spiritual guidance. Their rituals, once considered quaint or outdated, are now seen as a vital part of personal and collective healing. The sacred spaces in forests and mountains, once abandoned, are being honored again as places of spiritual significance. This revival of mythological beliefs is also a testament to the resilience of cultural identity. Amidst globalization and the pressures of modernity, these ancient traditions offer a refuge, a way to reclaim and reaffirm what is uniquely Filipino. It is a journey of rediscovery that connects people to their ancestors and to a heritage that is both rich and enduring. In small villages and urban neighborhoods alike, people are coming together to share and celebrate their myths and legends. Storytelling sessions, cultural workshops, and traditional performances are bringing communities closer, fostering a deep sense of unity and pride. The stories of gods and spirits are being passed down to younger generations, ensuring that the ancient wisdom will continue to resonate and inspire. The resurgence is not without its challenges. There are debates and discussions about how to balance the old ways with contemporary life and how to preserve the integrity of traditions while making them relevant to today's world. Yet, this dialogue is part of the process of renewal. It reflects a deep engagement with cultural heritage, a commitment to honoring the past while embracing the future. As the sun sets over a festival, casting its warm glow on faces that are alight with joy and reverence, the essence of this revival is palpable. The ancient myths and beliefs, once on the brink of fading into obscurity, are now alive with new energy. They are a source of inspiration, connection, and strength, grounding people in their heritage and guiding them through the complexities of modern life. In this vibrant renaissance of traditional beliefs, there is a profound sense of coming home. The myths and legends of the past are not merely echoes of history but are vibrant, living forces that shape and enrich the present. This revival is a celebration of cultural identity, a testament to the enduring power of ancient stories, and a reminder that the past and present are intertwined in a beautiful, continuous dance. In a world constantly shifting and evolving, ancient myths are finding new life, like old friends emerging from the shadows of history. From the pages of comic books to the screens of blockbuster films, these timeless stories are being reimagined and given fresh, vibrant forms. The heart of this transformation beats with the same pulse of the old tales, but now they dance with modern beats and rhythms. Imagine a young artist in a bustling city, sketching a powerful deity from an ancient myth, not in its traditional form, but as a superhero. The once legendary figure now sports sleek armor and futuristic gadgets, fighting for justice in a world of high-tech cities and dark conspiracies. This isn't just a new look, it's a reinvention that breathes new life into ancient heroes. The familiar legends are recast to address contemporary struggles, blending old wisdom with new challenges. In literature, these myths are no longer confined to dusty volumes. They leap off the page, rewritten as thrilling novels where ancient gods walk among us in modern times, grappling with issues of identity, power, and morality. The stories, while rooted in their ancient origins, now reflect the complexities of the 21st century. Readers are drawn into worlds where gods face the same moral dilemmas and personal struggles as they do, making these ancient tales strikingly relevant. On the big screen, myths are given a new voice. Imagine the chilling atmosphere of a darkened theater, where the flicker of the screen brings to life ancient spirits and gods with cutting-edge visual effects. These films do more than entertain, they provoke thought and stir emotions. They offer a lens through which we can see our own struggles reflected in the grand, timeless battles of mythical beings. The enchantment of these myths, combined with modern technology, creates a powerful experience that resonates deeply with audiences. In music, mythological themes are woven into lyrics and compositions that capture the imagination and stir the soul. Traditional instruments blend with modern sounds, creating melodies that echo with the voices of ancient gods and heroes. These songs are more than just music, they are a bridge between past and present, carrying the weight of ancient stories into contemporary life. The digital age has also seen myths transform into interactive experiences. Video games allow players to step into the shoes of ancient heroes, navigating through virtual worlds that are both familiar and alien. These games are not just about escapism, they offer players a chance to engage with myths on a personal level, making choices that mirror the moral and ethical dilemmas of the original stories. This rebirth of myths in modern contexts is more than just creative reworking, it's a way of reconnecting with the timeless truths that these stories hold. By adapting these ancient tales to fit new formats and settings, they become tools for exploring and understanding the human experience in a new light. They address contemporary issues such as technology, identity, and morality, making them relevant to today's audiences. Yet, this adaptation is not without its challenges. The essence of the original myths must be preserved while being transformed. It's a delicate balance, as modern interpretations strive to honor the depth and significance of the old stories while making them accessible and engaging for new generations. The goal is to keep the heart of the myths alive while allowing them to evolve in ways that resonate with today's world. In every adaptation, there is a spark of the old myth glowing in the new. The power of these stories, their ability to touch the heart and stir the imagination, remains unchanged. Whether through a comic book, a film, a novel, or a game, these ancient tales continue to speak to us, reminding us of the universal truths and timeless struggles that unite us all. As the myths are reimagined and adapted, they become a living part of our cultural landscape. They are no longer just stories from the past, they are vibrant, evolving narratives that reflect our present and guide our future. The ancient gods and heroes, reworked into new forms, continue to inspire and challenge us, proving that their power and relevance are as enduring as the stories themselves. Under the soft glow of moonlight, the legends of the Philippines come alive, whispering through the rustling leaves and echoing in the quiet corners of every village. These myths, ancient and revered, have shaped the Filipino identity in ways that are deeply personal and profoundly collective. As the sun rises over the archipelago, a young child hears stories about the Diwata, benevolent nature spirits who protect the forest. These stories are more than just tales, they are a connection to the past, teaching respect for nature and understanding the delicate balance of life. The tales of these mythical beings mold the values of each generation, instilling a deep-rooted reverence for the natural world and the spirits that inhabit it. Families gather around in the evening, sharing folklore of the Aswang and the Kapre, turning what might seem like simple stories into powerful lessons about bravery, morality, and the consequences of one's actions. Each story, whether it's about a fearsome creature or a kind-hearted deity, serves as a mirror reflecting the values and fears of the community. These myths are woven into the fabric of daily life, guiding behavior and shaping cultural norms. They are not just remnants of the past, but living narratives that continue to influence contemporary life. In the rural landscapes, where ancient traditions hold strong, the legacy of these myths is vividly present. Festivals and rituals are infused with mythological themes, celebrating the gods and spirits that are believed to watch over and protect the land. During these vibrant festivals, ancient deities are honored with dances, songs, and offerings, keeping the myths alive and ensuring that they are passed down through the generations. Each dance step, each chant, becomes a testament to the enduring presence of these stories in Filipino culture. The power of these myths also extends to the arts. Filipino literature and visual arts often draw on mythological themes, transforming ancient legends into modern expressions. Artists and writers breathe new life into these old tales, keeping them relevant and resonant. Through paintings, sculptures, and stories, the myths are reinterpreted, exploring their meanings in new and innovative ways. This creative reimagining keeps the myths vibrant and ensures their place in the cultural consciousness. Even in urban settings, where modern life often overshadows traditional practices, the myths of the Philippines hold a special place in the hearts of many. In bustling cities, stories of the Tikbalang and the Tiyanak are recounted with a mix of fear and fascination, reminding people of their cultural roots. These urban legends, though modernized, still carry the essence of their ancient origins, reflecting how deeply ingrained these myths are in Filipino identity. The myths also play a crucial role in personal identity. For many Filipinos, these stories are a source of pride and cultural heritage. They provide a sense of belonging and connection to a rich history. By learning about these myths, individuals understand their place in a larger narrative, finding meaning and context in their own lives. The tales of gods, spirits, and ancient heroes offer a way to connect with ancestors and traditions, grounding people in a shared cultural identity. As these myths continue to influence Filipino identity, they also serve as a source of resilience and strength. In times of struggle, the stories of ancient heroes and deities offer hope and inspiration. They remind people of their own strength and the possibility of overcoming challenges, drawing on the courage and wisdom of their mythical ancestors. These stories are not just historical artifacts, but living symbols of perseverance and hope. The legacy of Philippine mythology is a living testament to the enduring power of these ancient tales. They continue to shape and define Filipino culture, offering insights into the values, fears, and dreams of the people. From rural traditions to urban legends, these myths are woven into the very fabric of Filipino identity, a continuous thread linking the past with the present. Each story, whether whispered in a quiet village or depicted on a bustling city street, is a reminder of the rich cultural heritage that continues to influence and inspire.